It's time for a fresh start. It's time for questions to be answered. It's time for tradition to begin again. It's time for Saints preseason football. Just about a 30-minute drive from downtown Boston. The preseason opens tonight on a hot, muggy evening in New England as the Saints are on the road taking on the New England Patriots. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Myers, and welcome to Foxborough as we get ready for the Saints' 50th anniversary season. And it starts right away with a test. Team that went to the AFC Championship game last year, the New England Patriots tonight, and then it doesn't get any easier next week. Another playoff team from the AFC, and on the road once again, matching up with the Houston Texans. I am happy to say back with us on our telecast once again, my partners, Sean Kelly, John Stinchcomb, a former Saint, a Super Bowl champion. And Stinch, when we talk about the Saints coming off a 7-9 season last year, for the Saints to succeed this year, they've got to get better on the defensive side of the football. And what goes hand in hand, a pass rush and good coverage.
The number one thing you can do to improve your secondary, create a great pass rush. You know what you get in Cam Jordan? He's a Pro Bowler. Well, who's playing the opposite end across from him? Kasim Edebali is a guy who's an arrow-up player. Every year he seems to get a little better. He's entering his third year, but who's coming behind him? Obum Gwachum's the guy to watch tonight. He's a wide receiver in college, so obviously he's athletic. Will he have enough power to add to that position? Then on the back end, P.J. Williams, a draft pick from a year ago. He spent the entire year on IR. You haven't seen him play yet. He should be a guy who really factors into this back end as the season progresses.
So hopefully some of those question marks on the defensive side of the football answered over the first 4 games during the preseason as we get ready for the home opener against the Oakland Raiders at the Dome. Offensively, good hands. Future Hall of Famer Drew Brees. At 37 years of age, he is back. He's as fit as ever, ready to go, and he's got a talented group, a deeper group this year.
Deeper because you add 2 key guys right off the bat. One from the draft in Michael Thomas, an NFL-ready wide receiver out of Ohio State. He's been dynamic in camp so far. And then through free agency, a proven tight end in Kobe Fleener. He hasn't missed a game in the last 3 seasons. He had a great 2014, solid 2015, and he's here at 6'6" to help at a feature position. Otherwise, there are a couple of other interesting storylines in the offense. One is up front at the line. Who will be that other starting guard? It's Lolito and Clemente right now battling for that. There are question marks about your depth still. This line will look different in about a week. Otherwise, a great position battle at the bottom side of the wide receiver group and the running backs. Man, I'm glad I'm not the guy who has to make that decision right now, because after Ingram and Spiller, there's lots of great choices. Special teams will go a long way in deciding the rest of that group.
6 running backs, 4 spots. They kept 4 last year, so we're just about ready to go. The preseason is finally here. Opening night in New England. John DeShazer joins us on the sideline when we come back. Saints taking the field for the first time. 50th anniversary season about to begin. And I know it's only the preseason, but we haven't had football for far too long. So it's just great to be here in Foxborough. Welcome back once again as we check in with our man on the sideline, John DeShazer. JD.
The Saints have finished 7-9 in 3 of the last 4 seasons, all non-playoff years. So understandably, there's a sense of urgency going into this season. And Coach Sean Payton does not want to wait till the regular season for the winning to begin. He wants the success to begin right now, tonight, in this preseason, wants his team to win. And along the way, he has several young players that have to be evaluated. One of those young guys is high in the quarterback rotation tonight. How's your quarterback rotation going to go?
Drew will carry. He'll get a series really just to get him through the process of pregame. A year ago we sat him in Baltimore. We're going to let him play that first series, and then we're going to see Grayson the whole first half, and we're going to see McCown in the second half.
So Garrett Grayson's going to get a great look. Back to you, Joel.
Thank you, John. Man, as John talked about it, we've mentioned it. It was raining yesterday. It was kind of cool and comfortable. Well, forget about it. It was about 95 and sunny today. So you see what it feels like, and it's not as bad as it was just an hour ago. Sun starting to set here in Foxborough, but still the humidity way up there. Stingier, I know. You got goosebumps going right now.
It feels good. Football's about to be back. We missed last week's Hall of Fame game, so we're about to get underway, and it feels like we're back in New Orleans with this humid weather.
Marcus Murphy, you see his average on kick returns last year. He had a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown. As Gostkowski gets into it, and does he ever, out of the end zone. So the Saints and Drew Brees. Now, we just heard Sean Payton say that he only wants Brees in there for one series. But if it's 3 and out with a punt, you wonder if he maybe adjusts on the fly.
Well, he might adjust for some players. I'm not sure about Drew. I think he'll probably stick hard and fast to the one series for number 9.
Well, number 9 is going to start the game. So it's going to be Mark Ingram with Drew Brees in the backfield, making his Saints debut, setting up on the bottom of your screen as well. Kobe Fleener, the big tight end out of Stanford in his 5th season. Going the other way down the sideline with contact. What a grab by Cooks. He's got a first down, not a bad way on the first snap of the preseason.
You talk about a perfectly placed ball. Drew Brees puts it exactly where it had to be. He was covered well. Cooks had zero space, but find a way to get behind the defender for the catch.
Man, as we look at the wide receivers, John Kuhn, a recent addition due to the injury to Austin Johnson, a Pro Bowler 3 times with the Green Bay Packers, 9 seasons with the Packers. He's wearing number 25. Josh Hill is checked into the game. Good hole over to the left side. Ingram out for about 8 inside the 30. And the pace and the rhythm of everything that's going on at camp, the Greenbrier guys, it's paying off on the first 2 snaps because there's a sense of urgency around the Saints.
There's a certain level of crispness when number 9 is at quarterback. You seem to just roll play to play, and a great hole that opened up right there for Ingram.
Starting lineups all brought to you by Visit Baton Rouge. Ingram, ball on the ground, and the Patriots say they have it, and they do. So much for a drive producing points. They're still battling, but the official, the linesman, came running in and said it's New England's football.
I can't tell, Joel, if it was a bad exchange with Brees or there was contact right up at the line of scrimmage that knocked that ball loose.
Yeah, the defensive back, Jones. Cyrus Jones, the rookie out of Alabama, the 2nd-round pick, coming up with it.
It's a clean handoff. That contact came on the secondary hit.
So Tom Brady is not going to play as Ingram puts it on the ground. Man, disbelief. They were already in field goal range, and we're going to be talking about that battle as well between Morstead, or rather between Forbath and Connor Barth. So New England gets it on the turnover. They'll have it at their own 29. And we talk about areas that you need to shore up, and that is turnover differential as well. Saints last year, they were on the plus side, but just barely, and they were in the middle of the pack in the league at 15. Blunt hits the deck, trying to cut. So Garrett Blunt, former running back out of Oregon and a big back at 6', even 250. And disappointment, of course, on the Saints sideline after a promising beginning on that beautiful throw. And what I like the most about Brandon Cooks' reception, he didn't give it away to the defensive back. Never put his hands up, did he?
No, he's really showed progress this entire camp.
So the Patriots on 2nd and a dozen. Garoppolo underneath. And complete to his tight end, Martellus Bennett, longtime member of the Chicago Bears, out to the 34. So Tom Brady is going to miss the first 4, and they want Jimmy Garoppolo to work against first units. As you see, the rookie starting, Sheldon Rankins, 12th overall for the Saints. Laurinaitis, he's never missed a game in his NFL career. That's a welcome addition. And then Crawley on the corner is one of the surprise stories out of camp so far. It'll be 3rd and about 5. Too much time, and finally it collapses. And off the edge, getting to the quarterback for the Saints, and it was A clean one for Edabali.
Well, before the game even started, we're asking, where does the pass rush come from? Edabali at the top of your screen there, he just fights his way past the tackle, no punch, gets to the quarterback. That's a great job of just fighting through. The pocket's collapsing, and Edabali finds his way to the QB. Great job of creating pressure and getting a sack early.
Ryan Allen gets into it. Murphy collects it at the 33, popped at the 38, but good yardage. And I'm talking about field position. So the exchange, despite the fumble by Ingram, close to plus territory, still for the Saints when we come back on their second possession of the preseason. Tonight's scoreboard all brought to you by Rouse's. That's chefs and cooks. They shop at Rouse's. It was a long night for Drew Brees. He's 1 for 1. He had a completion and a good one at that, 37 yards to Brandon Cooks. So they're trying to find out about Garrett Grayson, guys, third-round pick last year, and we're going to find out against the first and second teamers of the Patriots in the first half.
This is a great opportunity for Grayson because he's surrounded by your top guys. You got Fleener out there, Cooks is out there. Let's see what he can do surrounded by the talent that we're expecting to play in September.
Tim Hightower is the new combination. Ingram out as well. Joining Grayson in the backfield. And he on first down, a pick after it's deflected and a poor throw and out of bounds. No, going down the sideline. Touchdown, New England. It'll be Jamie Collins, the linebacker, on the deflection. So that's the way it begins for Garrett Grayson, a nightmare.
And the second turnover already for the Saints in 2 drives. Sean Payton said about Grayson, I need to see what he does and how he handles adversity. Well, one play and adversity. He'll play again in the next series, and we'll see how he comes back for it.
You saw it off the fingertips of Brandon Coleman, and he was in tight coverage to begin with.
He was in tight coverage. The ball wasn't placed exactly where it needed it to be. It was a little bit high and in front of Coleman, who really didn't, he wasn't able in a position to fight for it. Tips the ball, gets it in the defender's hand, return for a touchdown.
So 2 turnovers, 4 snaps. Not exactly the way you want to start the preseason. And now the extra point try coming up. And are they going for 2? Yep, they're going to go for 2. So if you're going to experiment, this is the place to do it in the preseason.
I think we're going to see more teams do this. We've already heard talk about it from several head coaches that going for 2 may be more often than not in the NFL this season.
Garoppolo brings White into the backfield. It was empty originally. Spreads him with 2 to each side. White will get there, and he's in for 2. So James White, in his 3rd year out of Wisconsin, man, a guy who caught 40 balls last year. He very rarely touched it on the ground. So a frustrating start for the Saints all the way around as they're down early by 7. Early 8-0 lead for New England. And welcome back once again to Foxborough. Joel Myers, John Stinchcomb, and Sean Kelly. Stinch, what's right now is Sean Payton's mindset after what has just occurred, because you can't be cavalier with the football, casual with passes.
He's made an emphasis since the beginning of camp that he wants to win everything, win every drill, win every play, and then you come out as an offense. You start off hot with 2 good plays, backed up by 2 terrible plays. Anytime you turn the ball over, that's the exact opposite what you want to do as an offense. So I'm sure he's less than pleased, to say the least.
Let's see if Murphy will have an opportunity, and he will. About 1 yard, 2 yards into the end zone, designed to go left, and Murphy waits for his blocking, almost breaks it as he goes across 28, just tripped up at the 29. So the Saints get it already. 3 minutes into the game for a 3rd time. Let's take a look at our keys to the game, all sponsored by Gulf Shores in Orange Beach. It's a whole different state. Stinch?
Well, you start off with the test for an emerging defense. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of new players that are going to be counted on in 2016, and who's going to come to the forefront.
And as far as Garrett Grayson goes, simply move the offense. That's his #1 goal tonight.
Hightower will take the handoff. It'll be met by Jamie Collins. They've got exceptional linebackers. Jamie Collins and Dante Hightower are kind of their guys. Freeney, not shabby either, but Collins is exceptional.
Collins is at level 2. There's a combo block coming from that tight end that's in motion right there. He runs right underneath Andrus Peat, is untouched. It's one of those combo blocks where you're trying to work in combination with a tight end and it's a tackle to get to that second level. When they run through like that, you got to see it quick and come off.
It'll be second and about 13. Dump off on the screen, look one way, go the other way, and Hightower won't get much. Across the 30, out to the 32. It's about 4, maybe 5 at the most for Tim Hightower. Turned out to be a nice addition. They needed him once Ingram went down last year.
Well, he resurrected his career. He was on the streets for a little while, and then he came back, and boy, did he had a nice little burst last season.
He's in a real battle, though, behind Ingram and Spiller, because you've got the 7th-round draft choice, Lasco and Cadet and Murphy all crawling up from behind him.
Bunch on the near side. Plenty of pocket protection and a good throw. It's complete. It should be enough, and it will be on the completion for the first down as it goes to Kobe Fleener. And he's got his first catch as a Saint. So a big target down the road, 6'5", legit 6'5" in the red zone.
Well, he had a rough first day of training camp. I mean, just it wasn't pretty at all. And then all of a sudden, starting with day 2, Kobe Fleener's like, I'm good. And from then on, he was a secure receiver over the middle and a big target, as you mentioned, in the red zone especially.
And Josh Hill forms a triplet over to the near side. They'll run it with Hightower over to the opposite side. Doesn't fool the Patriots, though. They don't bite on the bunch formation down at the bottom of your screen. Only a couple of yards. Out to the 45, it'll be second and long. So different looks. Nobody's going to question what the Saints have done offensively under that man in now his 11th year since 2006. The points they produced, and it's funny as I was getting ready for the broadcast, it's the Saints and the Patriots ever since Sean Payton came in 2006, and they're side by side across the board offensively at either 1 or 2. Hightower on the spin and can't get away from the ankle tackle. And once again, a good job down low by Dante Hightower. So we talk about Dante Hightower bringing down Tim Hightower. What was it, about 3 full seasons he missed due to knee injuries. And when he came to talk with us at the Greenbrier, he was still patched up. And I'm talking about things that he puts on after the drills and practice.
He's one of the most determined guys on this roster, and I think it's an inspiration to a lot of others, younger especially.
Grayson in trouble. Extend. It's going to be a holding call, and Hightower laid out as he couldn't hang on to it. He is drilled by Justin Coleman, was not drafted in his second season out of Tennessee. It'll be declined, the holding call out of the backfield.
Holding. Offense, number 75. That penalty is declined. He's over the play. It's 4th down.
If you look at Grayson, the reason why he's flushed out of the pocket, you're going to have a TE game right here. There's separation between the guard and tackle. Anytime you have that space, you see Pete's in a bad position. He's just trying to keep Grayson right there a little bit clean, and he's flushed the quarterback out of the pocket. You get the holding call, and now they're punting.
Morstead gets into it. High one, short one. Jones stays away, and it's going to go to bounds anyway. Up past the 20-yard line with a flag down at about the 45. So let's see what the flag is all about, as they're going to put it down at the 24 of New England. So let's see what it's all about before we potentially have a timeout with the Saints down early by 8.
During the kick, personal foul, face mask, number 36 of the receiving team. The penalties enforced half the distance from the end of the kick. It's New England's ball. 1st down.
Be on the defensive back, Brandon King. So that'll take it back when we come back. Patriots will have it, but deeper in their own territory as New England is up by 8. A 7-9 season last year. You see the numbers for the Saints defensively, giving up 57, the most in the NFL, as well as 30 points on average. And as good as the offense is, Stinch, you're not going to outscore people when you're giving up 30 points a game. They average a little over 25 a contest.
Dennis Allen, one voice. You ask all those guys on that side of the football. They love the calm, solid communication coming from Allen.
Garoppolo looking for Bennett. Good coverage and knocked away. And almost like offensive interference. The coverage was that good by Kenny Vaccaro on the tight end.
Boy, he was in position. He might have an argument right there. Martellus Bennett was definitely wrestling him to try to get him off his game because Vaccaro was in a position to have an interception right here.
It's been interesting in camp. First of all, the thing that should shake you as a Saints fan is the fact that you're watching Jarvis Byrd in the first preseason game. That's all new.
Out of the backfield, nothing available there for James White. They have not been able to keep the running backs healthy here in New England. They did not have a good ground game last year. The pressure was on Brady, and Brady got him to the AFC Championship game before they lost to the Denver Broncos by 2. And nobody will ever forget that missed extra point and the one that snapped a streak of a zillion years, it seemed, for Gostkowski. So if you're wondering about Drew Brees, he looked great. Good throw. Couple of handoffs. He was only there for 3 snaps. Now on 3rd down and about 7. Man behind the intended target. The linebacker doing a good job on coverage, though. Donnell Ellerbe.
Joel, it's become apparent he played 6 games last year. The Saints were 4-2 in the games that he played. His presence on the field during training camp shows this defense is markedly better when Donnell Ellerbe is on the field. He's obviously the most athletic linebacker this team possesses.
There's no question with Edibali coming off one edge, Ellerbe a healthy one at the linebacker spot. Saints are a different look. P.J. Williams. We'll talk about Davis Tull, their 5th-round pick, who was like P.J. Williams last year. On injured reserve, not available. Beautiful punt by Allen. Murphy's got room, though, as he put it on the ground. And makes him miss at the 35. He's got blockers at the 40. Down the sideline, Allen is blocked out of the play. And Murphy all the way down inside the 20 to the 15. What a ploy by Murphy to bobble it and put it on the ground the way he did effectively.
It worked out just how he had planned right there. You talk about trying to make an impact in special teams. This is what Murphy does. He's a guy that creates in space. Now, does he have to field the ball better? Absolutely. Once he gets it picked up, you see the wall that's created right there by the Saints. There's nobody left. All you have left is the kicker. So a great block. Who is that? Eric Harris right there with a great block to key it, and then Dixon blows up the kicker, creating space, man. That was a great protection down the sideline.
Mark Ingram back into the game. That's interesting. I wonder if he asked back into the game after he put it on the ground. Don't forget, down close to the red zone on the first series after the great pass. It's a gain of 4 for Ingram. Have you seen guys like that asked back in a game?
Sure. At times you just want to feel the contact. I mean, it's a little bit different going from a drill to live game time situation where folks are pulling at the ball and, you know, they're actually trying to pop you, not like you would your own teammate.
So Garrett Grayson in there, his 3rd series, starting at the 15. It'll be 2nd and 6 outside of the 11. Little waggle action. And a good grab by the fullback. Man, it's complete. It should be enough for the 1st down. So
what a veteran.
Yeah, we're talking about John Kuhn.
Yeah.
There he is.
What a veteran pickup he is from Green Bay. He's military tough, Joel. I mean, this guy has a tremendous work ethic. And with the injury to Johnson, to get a guy like this off the street, basically, what a lift.
Went to the Pro Bowl last year. Packers didn't have room for him. It could be the gain of the preseason. Wow. For the Saints. Ingram back into the game. 1st and goal for the Saints down outside of the 4. Mark Ingram goes low and denied. Just about a foot short. No. Yes, still denied. Great second effort, though, by Ingram, and it looked like they had pushed him all the way back to about the 3.
He runs hard. They tried to stop him. He took a second effort. He's still trying to fight his way in there. He waits, he's patient, he sees where the hole opens up. You got to against a defense like the Patriots. He shifts a little bit and then strikes the hole. Guy just keeps driving right there. He's not done.
Offset backfield. And Ingram he looks like he's in. No official word. Yes, finally touchdown. Mark Ingram.
That'll make you feel better after that opening drive fumble. And if there's one thing that this top 5 offense from a year ago needed to be better at, red zone efficiency. Great to see him punch it in, guys.
And after, don't forget, it's all set up on the 50-yard return by Marcus Murphy. So we talk about the battle, and we'll see Johnny Lee Lewis a little bit later, who's been a training camp positive at wide receiver, and they think potentially on returns. Well, Marcus Murphy, he's in his 2nd season, and he looks strong. Now the Saints thinking about going for 2. And they'll put it down and will go for 2. Just a healthy situation. Sean Payton with so much respect, and a couple of guys that know Bill Parcells pretty well, don't they? Sean Payton and Bill Belichick. And I'm talking about Bill Parcells, who the longtime coach and the Super Bowl coach of the New York Giants, who will get into the Tommy Lee Lewis story as well. Ingram stays in the backfield. And let's see if they can get the equalizer. It's a little bit of everything in the first 9 minutes of the preseason. Now can Grayson get the corner? Yes, he's in. It's all tied up at 8. Good wheels.
Looking sharp at the edge right there. What really keyed it off is this return. This is what Murphy does. This is what he needs to do in the preseason right here. Make plays in special teams and then finish in the end zone with touchdowns.
Shaky start to the contest for Garrett Grayson, although he was not helped out, let's face it, by Brandon Coleman as wide receiver. On that pass, it was a little off target, but now back, good field position, and the Saints and Mark Ingram capitalized, and he converts the 2-pointer.
Well, this is good to see out of Grayson. I'm not so sure that you'd like to see this out of Drew, a diving, stretching your body out in the corner of the end zone for the 2-point conversion, but he made the play. It's what they're asking of him, and for a guy that started off on the rough edge of things, to finish off like that's a good way to rebound.
Kicking first tonight's going to be Kai Forbath. Man, line drive, returnable type. Over the head, fortunately, of D'Angelo Bentley. Let's head back downstairs to John DeShazer. JD.
Well, guys, the Saints are a little bit fortunate to have Mark Ingram even in uniform tonight. His fiancee, Chelsea Pelton Brown, is due to deliver their 2nd child. August 24th is the due date. Mark thought it might be a little bit early, so thought it might be a little bit dicey to be here. But in a couple of days, little Mila, 20 months old, excuse me, is going to have a new little sister. Joel?
Yeah, busy times and good times for Mark Ingram and his fiancee. Underneath, Martellus Bennett on a shallow cross gets a first down. So that's the longest play for Jimmy Garoppolo and the Patriots. Before that, they had not even averaged per snap a half a yard. Well, the Saints were at 5.6. Saints have dominated time of possession as well.
Well, right after Jimmy gets rid of the ball, he gets a face full of Sheldon Rankins. Beat the left guard. Impressive move to see out of this rookie making plays early.
They come out in the eye on first down. And LeGarrette Blount wrapped up. Outstanding play. The D, and it was Kenny Vaccaro coming up, but it was Guachim first who got to the running back early.
And you got Guachim there. You got Laurinaitis. There's a couple guys that are making plays. This is a defense that has played inspired football throughout training camp. I think they're coming in with an edge and feeling like they have something to prove, because they do.
It's a 2nd and 9 situation. Blunt staying in the backfield as they motion Dobson. And look underneath and out of the reach of the H-back. Well, and there's been more contact, let's face it. We talked about the sense of urgency in camp. It's a little more physical this year than last season.
And that physicality has also brought a new sense of competition as well. Each and every day there's a super competitive period, and the defense, more often than not, is winning these periods where they're keeping score. We wondered if it would carry over in that big first practice against the Patriots a couple days ago. It did.
Now all of a sudden a 3rd and long after the first down toss to Bennett. Doubled up in the backfield for protection purposes. And he's got plenty of time. Garoppolo over the middle. He's got the first down. So settling in the gap, it was Bennett once again. And this is a guy out of Texas A&M, former second-round pick of the Cowboys, who played with the Bears. He was a target the last few years for the Bears.
Well, it looks like it's underneath coverage by Laurinaitis with a safety over the top. They find the hole in the zone defense and able to convert for a first down.
Goes to the 48 of the Saints. White. No, make it LeGarrette Blount. How about the pressure? And getting away Garoppolo, but cleaning up again at a body. Laurinaitis first. There is now some speed on the edge, and that time up the middle.
Well, breakdown and protection lets your Mike linebacker smoke through the A gap. Laurinaitis gives away a sack right here. I guess he's benevolent and feels for Edebali, wants him to have 2 in the first half, but he should finish the drill right there. He's almost done, and luckily Edebali's still fighting, and boy, maybe what is it? 2nd and 400 yards to go is what it looks like from here.
That's a big loss. So it's going to be 2nd and 24. Back at their 38. And the big run up the middle, and he's a big back at that. It is Brandon Bolden, 5'11", 225 out of Ole Miss. A guy that was not drafted out of the Rebels program, and now manageable.
You get the big sack, you ask for the pressure you've been seeking that was lacking last year, but one of the old sins of last year comes back, and that's giving him way too much on the ground. And it gashes you and puts him almost into a normal down situation.
So now 3rd and about 15. Pressure off the edge, and it forced a little dump off underneath. It's not even close. James White was in the neighborhood. P.J. Williams on the coverage. And the Saints are about to get it back. And don't forget, if you joined us a little bit late, the only points on the board for New England, it was scored by their defense.
Exactly. And I think Garoppolo short arms the ball on that pass because he feels that pressure coming in on him again. What's Murphy going to do with this time? Is he going to drop it again to set up the big run, or?
Yeah, it's that ploy. He waits back at about the 10. And with pressure, can he turn the corner? No blockers on that side, but still the good speed, and then takes a hit way out of bounds. No flag, but I mean, he was 3-4 yards out of bounds, and Stupart puts his hands out like, we agree. Nate Stupart, you're going to see him on specials a lot this year for the Saints. It's all even at 8. New Orleans Saints football all brought to you in part by Verizon. And by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. It's a whole different state. Sensational start for the Saints defensively. They're tied at 8, but the 8 points, that came from the New England Patriots defensive unit, at least 6 of the 8. Joel Myers, John Stinchcomb, and Sean Kelly back in Foxborough. Edebali, 2 sacks already in this game. And we've seen his speed off the edge. We saw Laurinaitis shoot the gap. So a lot of positives early, and I emphasize early for the Saints. And now some changes, Stinch, in your area, the offensive line.
Yep, looks like they brought Unger and Streif out. They've rotated some guys. You're going to see Andrus Peat at the right tackle position, and then they bring in one of the centers that's excited people so far in camp.
Yeah, Jack Allen has stepped in here as an unrestricted free agent rookie out of Michigan State. And if there's one question answered about the depth of this line, I think Allen's your first answer. I think he's been solid.
2 tight end look with a single in the backfield. And that is Tim Hightower. And good grab. That's Harris on the outside, bringing it in, or making Michael Thomas, excuse me. Thought it was 14 or 13. And Michael Thomas just looks like he belongs. 6'3", legit 6'3", big target wide receiver.
Goes and gets the ball. I mean, he had a diving catch day 2, 3 of camp that's still being shown on preseason highlight reels. He loves wearing his old Ohio State spikes, though, all the time.
He sets up as a single. Bottom of your screen. Spiller's in the backfield as he spins his way close to the first down, and he gets it on 2nd and short. But back to Michael Thomas. And out of the first 4 picks, he's the only offensive pick, don't forget, for the Saints. That's how much they emphasize defense in the draft, but you couldn't pass on Michael Thomas.
He's a guy who had a lot of success in college, and he showed up day 1 ready to work. Somebody that has been impressive. You've seen him all camp long. He seems prepared and ready to contribute immediately.
On first down, deep drop and good pocket protection for Garrett Grayson as he progressed. Looked down through the progressions. Good read he takes what the defense gives him. Stinch, and it's Hightower for another first down.
Well, on his pass out to Thomas, he checked the play. He didn't like the defense. He makes a nice throw. In this situation, primary receiver wasn't open. He worked outside of the pocket, checked down, exactly what you're looking for in a series from one of your younger quarterbacks.
And that's the key, because the only points he's produced was a short field, a 15-yard field. So you're looking for a long, sustained drive. This one started back the Saints 20. It'll be counteraction for Tim Hightower. Tried to bounce it over to the right side, maybe a yard or two at the most.
Sean Payton talked about Garrett Grayson's keys to success. Control the huddle, get this team lined up and ready to go, move the offense, and handle adversity. Well, after the pick six, he went on a short scoring drive, as you mentioned. He's getting his team now moving in the open field and seems poised in the pocket. All these things are positive signs for a guy who has to make all of his marks in the preseason only.
Speaking of marks, Ingram's back in. This is interesting. Now Grayson in single coverage going for Michael Thomas. Is he out of bounds? No. Great grab. He's got it at the 26-yard line. Man, oh man, to maintain your balance and concentration on the boundary.
This is what we've been talking about. Even in traffic, even in tight coverage along the boundary. Check out the ball skills here in working against the defensive back, who's clearly got the inside track on him. But the Twitter handle is "can't guard Mike." He's right.
That's where the challenge flag.
Well,
And there it comes.
I just keep moving.
That's where the
Just
challenge
keep moving.
flag. Yeah, it looked like he got 1 foot in and then fell out of bounds. And the master of challenges, Sean Payton's right there with him. I like where he hides it.
Yep, it's a good place to keep it.
Is challenged the ruling on the field of a completed
We
pass.
can still talk positive
Review
about
the
Michael
play.
Thomas, even though you and I both know that this is coming back.
It's carrying a concealed sock.
What's that in your sock, sir?
39 seconds left in the opening 15 minutes of play. And we've talked about the way these two teams and franchises have mirrored each other since Sean Payton came in 2006 and took the Saints deep into the playoffs in that very first year. And we'll look back, because it looks like this play is going to be coming back off the Patriots challenge. But it's interesting because when you look at total yards per game, you look at all the offensive numbers, the Saints right ahead of the New England Patriots. And I was talking about across the board, but what a job Bill Belichick has done. It's hard to believe it's 17 seasons this year. They've taken 13 AFC East titles, 6 AFC championships, 4 Super Bowls. We get on the list. They are the model of consistency.
They've set the standard across the board as what it looks like to be a consistent contender year in and year out. I think the Saints have figured out the offensive side of the ball. They're at the top. You know, I think there was one exception when they finished 6th. But aside from that, they're 1, 2, or 3 each year on offense. It's a matter of playing that complete game, something that the Patriots have figured out. And, you know, you look at the relationship between the two, it's obvious that the Saints have picked up a lot from how Bill Belichick and that entire organization runs their system.
And it's interesting, another thing that they've mirrored each other on, and we've talked about tight ends tonight with Martellus Bennett now joining Gronkowski for New England. Kobe Fleener now was a huge 5-year free agent deal for the New Orleans Saints. These two teams are the top 2 teams in using the tight end over the last 5 years in yards and touchdowns scored by tight ends.
We'll see if the play stands.
The receiver possessed the ball, maintained control, got both feet down before going out of bounds. The ruling on the field is confirmed. New England is charged with their first time out.
Exactly what I said.
I told you the whole time that's what they'd say.
You know, this is a tough call.
Well, he touches his heel. You can see it right there.
There.
Right's down.
Yeah, he had it. He had the ball.
That's in there. I love it.
He had the ball. That is very strong.
Pretty good for a
And
rookie.
I didn't know if he possessed it with that front foot before he got the heel down with the other foot.
I think that's what's questionable, is whether his right foot, right heel was still in contact with the ground. And they obviously reviewed it and said that he had possession and the heel was still down.
So first down outside of the 26 on a play fake by Grayson. Willie Snead just camped in underneath got lost, didn't he? Down to the 3, and it's a 1st and goal. And he's one of the great stories for the Saints last year, isn't he?
He was a guy
as
that
Lance Moore retires, Willie Snead makes the catch.
Right in that same mold.
You said it.
He showed up last preseason, and you're wondering, God, they can't get rid of this guy, can they? And no, they couldn't. He's become a mainstay and a weapon that's relied upon because he can make plays like this across the middle.
So let's see if they get another snap off before the end of a productive first quarter after kind of a disastrous beginning offensively. No. So that'll be the first snap. It'll be 1st and goal to start the second quarter when we come back. Story right now with the Saints. Oh, it's even at 8 apiece, but Dennis Allen with the defense. They're really firing. Getting away, looking good early against the first unit of New England, with the exception of one guy. Tom Brady just couldn't make it tonight. By the way, thanks. We're just about 24 miles from the Boston Common. We're in Foxborough, Massachusetts this evening. A warm, muggy night. Good football weather, just the same. And welcome back as we get ready for the start of the second quarter. Joel Myers, John Stinchcomb, Sean Kelly, and really good to have you with us on the Saints TV network for preseason game number 1. And the Saints offense starting to roll now as you look at the numbers at the end of the first quarter. Pretty dominating with the way the Saints defense has been playing. Now can they get more points on the board in the red zone? On a 1st and goal, Kuhn slams it up the middle. Former Packer is stopped right at the 1. So everybody looks for the youngest guy, don't they? This is a game of young wheels. But when Sean Payton had an injury to his fullback, Austin Johnson, he went for experience.
What a great pickup. He's a guy who's proven he was a Pro Bowler last year for the Packers. He's done a phenomenal job for them year after year. And for him to be available in a position of need when you have injury, man, that could be a godsend.
Ingram's in the backfield once again. Fleener is in the game. Man, it's Ingram going high, and he's in. Touchdown Saints. There's a sense of, and we talked about it in our keys to the game, wins. Doesn't make any difference preseason or not, getting back into that formula, that mindset. And don't forget what happened last year in the game at the Dome against New England. Saints led every step of the way and lost to 26-24. They didn't close the deal.
Well, aside from 2 plays, scratch out 2 turnovers, the rest of the game has looked like this. They're fighting, they're scrapping. Mark Ingram's over the top for a touchdown. The play before, inside the 4-yard line, and Kuhn's pressing the pile into the 1. And now it looks like they might be going for 2 again.
They thought about it. That's why they're taking a timeout. There was some indecision.
It's interesting that if this is the second time that they go for the 2-point conversion, you've got this kicker battle going on right now between Forbath and Barth. And these preseason games have to go a long way in helping you to determine, or at least chart, what they could perhaps do for you in the regular season. How many chances do the kickers get? What's the situation here? You're also working on something that you may use, as you mentioned earlier, Joel, an aspect of your game more often than regular season. Speaking of the kickers, Barth and Forbath, these are 2 guys that back during OTAs and minicamp, I wasn't so sure, this is just my personal opinion, I wasn't so sure that the Saints had their kicker in camp. But in the preseason training camp now from the Greenbrier on, both guys have been neck and neck and have looked much better, and I'm less of the former opinion that I had during OTAs and minicamp.
And to that point, even Sean Payton said just a couple of days ago before we left the Greenbrier, he said one of these guys is going to be with the Saints and the other guy is going to be on another team in the NFL.
Yes.
That's a good problem to have right there when you got 2 starters that you get to choose between. Not always a luxury that the Saints have been able to exploit, but you know, as you assess the different situations, this is obviously a situation the Saints want to see. What's the value in going for 2? Can you put together packages that make sense to take the chance?
Tommy Lee Lewis setting up by Michael Thomas, now the motion man. And the jet sweep. Tommy Lee's in for 2.
It was a week ago today that Tommy Lee Lewis exploded onto the scene in training camp. The first play he did just that last Thursday was the jet sweep in the red zone. He went in untouched then. He does so again now.
Well, we always talk about the colleges stealing from the pros. Pros taking the jet sweep a lot from the colleges now. And an 8-point lead for the Saints. Garrett Grayson feeling better by the rep, and that's not the way the night started for him after it was a pick and it went for a pick 6 the other way. 8 plays, 80 yards. We're looking for a sustained drive, and that's exactly what the Saints got from Grayson. And a nice balanced drive. And the Saints dominating right now. Statistically, I know it's early. Tom Brady's not playing. But the Saints are looking for encouraging signs. They're getting that. This is going to be D'Angelo Bentley bringing it back as he is throttled past the 15 at about the 16. Well, as we celebrate the 50th anniversary season for the Saints, we look back at some of the characters and some of the classic coaches the Saints have had, like Tom Fears, Hank Stram, and Bum Phillips. The coat, it's everything. Jim Mora, what a run he had with the New Orleans Saints, guys. Mike Ditka, an introverted guy, to say the least. How about Jim Haslett? And Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, some moments there, too. E.J. Biggers in the backfield. The dump off is complete, just out of the reach of Edabali as he tried to get his fingertips on it. It's Bennett again, or check that. The wideout on that side is Aaron Dobson, who took it in the second-round pick a couple of years ago out of Marshall. He was on injured reserve last year after the first 8 games. So Jimmy Garoppolo, an important time because he's starting the first 4 games this year. For the opening 90 seconds of the second quarter. Out of the backfield, big run for LeGarrette Blount. And it seemed like they were going to get him in the backfield. Almost got him there.
Nick Fairley penetrates that D-line, from the D-line position. He's almost there. He's nipping at the heels of LeGarrette Blount, but Blunt's a big man to take down. At one little arm's not going to do it. Not that Nick Fairley has little arms, but that's a big running back toting the rock.
Got tonight's scoreboard all brought to you by Rouse's, the best chefs and cooks. Shop at Rouse's. On a first down, out to the 42. Here comes the Heat. Perfect call. And they get it to James White. Look out. White will be caught from behind. Inside the 20, down to the 10. And they put him outside of the goal line by about a foot and a half.
Saints bring pressure. Perfect call by the Patriots. It's a screen pass. You get the pressure pulled towards the quarterback. There's a big cushion between where you're at and where you need to go. Linebacker scraping over the top, gets caught, and then you get a breakaway.
Yeah, Devontae Harris does not quit on the play. Otherwise, it's in the end zone. It'll be first and goal inside the 1. But as you said, you call pressure, they call screen. Bad combination. Blunt barges his way up the middle, and he's in. Touchdown, New England.
That's how quickly you can turn around. You've got a couple of great series. The defense has played well. Then you give up a decent run to the right, a screen pass that goes, and now they've scored their first offensive touchdown.
They made quick work of a bunch of new guys into the game. Roman Harper was in for the first time. He's the one that originally applied the heat. Almost had the stick on Garoppolo, but as you mentioned, Harrison for the first time, Onyemata on the field for the first time. So not a great way to start for some of these guys getting in on their second wave. This would be the second wave of the night for the Saints defense in how they schedule these preseason rotations.
Going for 2 once again. So we've yet to see a point after by a place kicker.
Is Ben Roethlisberger calling all this? Is he the guy who said in the offseason? Go for 2, go for 2 every time. Yeah.
84-yard drive. Took only 4 plays with big run by White on the little screen play. White's going to be in the backfield. And on the long count, will White get there? No. He is shut down after a pickup of 1. So the Saints get the stop and maintain the lead. A little more than 2 minutes gone by in the second 15 minutes of play. But the call for pressure, wrong time if you're a Saints fan. So Blount gets in. They don't get the 2-point try. And the Saints lead it by 2 in Foxborough, 16-14. Didn't take long for the Patriots to come up with an answer. But the Saints right now still up by 2 as they get ready for the kickoff from Gostkowski. So it was a gamble that didn't pay off, but that's what you have the preseason for. You experiment. You find out what works and what doesn't as it's over the head of Murphy. And don't forget Gutskowski. In his 11th year out of Memphis, one of the very best in the NFL, just went to his 4th Pro Bowl.
I tell you what, if you look at the two-point conversion, sure, the Patriots are 50%, but they would be even as if they kicked 2 extra points. Now the Saints converted on both tries. That gives them a 2-point lead, but as the experiment of 2 points goes for a Week 1 preseason game, I think they both have a case for trying it.
As you look at Garrett Grayson's numbers, he's at 7 of his last 8 because his first pass was the pick by Collins and went the other way for a pick 6. Now in trouble, sidesteps the pressure effectively. And good idea, throw it away, save the yardage. Quick feet.
He did that in some appearances last year in the preseason. He showed the ability to have some poise, get out of a little bit of trouble, tuck it and go. You know, you can't do it every time. That's the learning process. But he's shown the athletic ability to do it.
I think he had a great decision. Once you flush out of the pocket, you look to see if somebody shakes loose. If not, throw it out of bounds.
C.J. Spiller has taken over in the backfield. On his 2nd and 10, Spiller. Good moves with the holding call coming up to wipe out a really good run.
That's too bad, too, because Spiller just showed us what we've seen here in this camp as he's been fully healthy. He's cutting again. He has the ability to put his foot in the ground, make a guy miss.
Man,
we didn't see that last year.
Is it a hold or a chop?
Personal foul. Chop block. Yeah. Offense. Number 65 and number 68. Half the distance to the goal. Replay second.
Point of emphasis right here, 65 and 68. I'm guessing he's saying left guard and center. Anytime a player's in contact with someone high, you can't come back low and chop them down. That looks like he fell and got pushed over. But obviously it's a point of emphasis. You're trying to protect players. Try not to slip. That's the rules of the game. So here's what they're talking about. If one player's engaged high or low, you can't come the opposite. So player safety issue, chop block, it's a point of emphasis. You're going to hear a lot of those calls in preseason.
It's Spiller, and they got him in the backfield. No gain on the carry, but it's a shame when it becomes a point of emphasis, and then there's an overreaction. So you don't see it, but you see potentially the result of something and react that it is a chop block.
Right, and defensive players have been complaining about chop blocks for years, especially D linemen. They hate guys around their legs. It's a safety issue, and it's something the offensive line can adjust to. It's not going to be devastating for any singular team. It's going to be an improvement for the game.
So now on 3rd and 22, Michael Thomas. Flanker screen was well behind him. So the defensive end with a flag down at the end. Was there somebody grabbing a face mask on that tackle potentially? It was thrown by the referee. Let's see. No, it'll be declined. They're looking over to the New England sideline. Illegal block in the back.
Yeah. Well, that was veteran Chris Long at defensive end getting in the passing lane to create some havoc. Grayson wasn't able to get it to Thomas.
Block in the back. Offense. Number 66. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
And Chris Long, an interesting story, has not been able to stay on the field the last 2 years. Previous 3 years, 11, 12, and 13 for the Rams. He averaged 11 sacks a season. So that's a vet they pick up. They've got depth there now.
When he's healthy, he's a playmaker.
Cyrus Jones is back deep waiting for the punt. Thomas Morstead, who's looked sensational in practice, hangs up a beauty. Good hang time. Jones belted, but keeps the play alive and down. So good coverage downfield, and unfortunately the man who hit him is down. Who couldn't wrap him, but did hit him. One of the Dixon twins is down, Brian Dixon.
Dixon's trying to win a job as a gunner on this punt unit. They've tried a number of different guys.
So hopefully good news on Brian Dixon when we come back to Foxborough. Yeah, we've been talking about things picking up, and it has to on the defensive side of the football, and there is added depth. Don't forget there's some new faces like Laurinaitis in the middle, Robertson, Stupar, good days with the linebacker core as strong as they are right now.
Robertson's shown the ability to cover in the pass game as well. What an addition he's been from the Browns. Hey, let's not forget Stephon Anthony, by the way, who had a Saints rookie record of 144 tackles last season. They're asking him now to play strong side linebacker, the Sam, for the first time since high school.
And good news, by the way, Brian Dixon got up, went over to the sideline on his own. Easy to say from up here, but it looked like he was okay. On a first down, middle of the field's available, and it's complete to Aaron Dobson. Big target at 6'3", 205 in his 4th year from Marshall. So they take what they give you, and that's exactly what they did. And you were talking about Robertson. He converged in on the stop after a gain of about 8.
That's 2 of your veteran pickups right there. Robertson and Stupar combine on the tackle in that zone. Just close in for no yak yards after the catch.
Starter at Cleveland the last 3 years for the Browns. In his 5th year, North Texas.
By Darryl Tapp. He's been around a while. He's one of those veteran pickups. What can he bring to the table? What's he got left in the tank? He's one of your sack leaders behind Cam Jordan in sack totals. Now, with that said, the rest of the group is relatively young, but if Tapp still's got something left in the tank, and he showed on that play that he's pretty good against the run.
Need less than a yard here on 3rd down with Dobson the motion man. Blunt in the eye. Man, Blunt will get it. Tripped up across the 45 out of the 46 into the hands of Craig Robertson.
I'm glad you talked about Tapp and showing us something here, because Sean Payton just the other day said, look, this isn't just about the new guys, the young guys showing us something in the preseason games. He said 1 through 90 has to be able to show us that. And for a guy like Tapp to show us that he still has that.
Blunt stays in the backfield on 1st down. And Stupar turns it in for Edabali. So they lose a couple of yards on the play. And first it's Stupar, who's going to be a special teams guy and a backup linebacker. And then Edabali cleans up.
When you have containment, and Stupar here, you've got to set the edge. When he comes up and attacks the end of the line of scrimmage, you cannot let the running back get outside of you. He maintains leverage on the tight end, turns him back. And anytime you get LeGarrette Blunt to stop his feet, you gain the advantage. You don't want that guy running downhill at you.
2nd and a dozen. DeAndre Carter in motion. He gets it and doesn't get much, maybe a yard. It'll be 3rd and long coming up. So now this group getting their feet set and a little bit better. Tapp comes over to the sideline, also checking out. And it's going to be, you would have to think, a nickel or even a dime package anyway.
It seems to be in that 3rd down passing situation. They're bringing in Guacham. They're bringing in Fairley. They want to see what they do against the pass. In addition, with Rankins, who made a hustle play on that screen, and Edabali, who's got 2 sacks under his belt already.
Bolden into the backfield. So max protection. Garoppolo underneath and short of the first down. They'll be short by about 2-3 yards. Good coverage downfield to keep. And we've been talking about Ken Crawley during the preseason. He made sure that he was not past the marker.
Crawley and Devontae Harris are 2 of these undrafted rookies that have a real legitimate shot of not only making this football team, but bringing added depth to the defensive secondary.
Going forward on 4th down now. It is the preseason, of course. 4th and a couple. Empty backfield for Garoppolo. And on a switch, he'll run for it, and he'll get it. Surprised he didn't slide. He'll take a shot and go down at about the 42. Stupar hit him first.
They were looking for a little rub route on the outside to Malcolm Mitchell. He didn't have it. It wasn't open. He breaks through an arm tackle through Darryl Tapp and finds a hole to shake loose for a 1st down. He might want to learn how to slide feet first.
Yes.
I guess he was going for that 1st down, really wanted it.
Well, they took another quarterback in the 3rd round this year, so he's pretty hungry right now. It'll be 1st down for the 42. Looks one way. Plenty of time at the pocket. Man, good grab. It's complete to Malcolm Mitchell. And that's her 4th round pick out of Georgia. Good size at about 6'1", 6'2". Made her look easy.
That's not an easy throw, guys. That's a well-placed football and a long way to get it there, too.
Yep, Crawley was underneath. Harris is coming over the top. He's got over-the-top help, and you find that small little window between the cornerback and safety over the top.
So bumped out of bounds by Eric Harris. Took a while to get there. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 18. And on the counter action, going to be a low throw, and that's because of Roman Harper. So Roman Harper, the veteran in there, he's getting to the quarterback and he forces the miss.
It's been so great to have Roman back around again. I mean, he just brings not only a veteran presence, but a personality back to this football team. And all that this guy has ever done is play in the postseason. All he's ever done is succeed. Just look wherever he's been. Postseason, 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 including last year, Carolina.
Rome, he wasn't being fooled by that play action. He's seen that a time or two.
Well, he likes playing up closer to the line of scrimmage, too.
On 2nd and 10, it's Bolden. Man, Stupar cleans up, but down low the early penetration. Nick Fairley, a guy we've been talking about with the Rams last year. 5 years in the league, and everybody says this guy can play. Now, is he going to capitalize on the opportunity?
So far he has. He's been very disruptive. He's made a lot of plays, been in the backfield a bunch, and you saw it on that play. He was the one who created that loss of the yards situation with Stupar coming in and cleaning up.
So now 3rd and a dozen. 4 years with the Lions where he was a 1st round pick. Garoppolo again out of the gun. And extends the play again. Puts it up for grabs and almost intercepted. Diving for it. It was behind even Devontae Harris, but a good effort just the same. So field goal try coming up for Gostkowski. Trying to give New England the lead.
Well, they had a lot of protection up front. Rankins is crawling to get there. Jimmy really had nowhere to go with the ball. And as you leap up, you're just trying to make a play if you're Devontae Harris. Get your hand on the ball, try to make something happen. But great coverage in the back end.
It is going to be a 38-yard field goal try by Gostkowski. Impressive numbers last season. On its way, and a lead for New England. So the drive started back at the Patriots 34. It stalls just outside of the red zone, but 3 more for the Patriots. Yeah, there's the vet talking to the kids, Harris and Crawley, and the group getting it done. Denying an entry into the red zone as New England had to settle for 3 after a long time possession drive. 5.5, almost 6 minutes off the clock, and a 1-point lead.
There's none better to learn from than Roman Harper. He's a great in the locker room. He makes plays. He's been around this game a long time. And like you said, he's a winner. He plays in the postseason every year. He's good to have on the team just as a good luck charm, if nothing else. But he brings so much more to the team, the locker room, and he's still playing at a high level.
Marcus Murphy waits. Will he get an opportunity as Gostkowski gets into it? He should. Backpedaling, though, loses some momentum. From about 3 yards into the end zone, he's belted and buried back inside the 15 at about the 12. Well, we'd like to give you a chance to win a getaway to a Saints home game. Sweet seats and accommodations with our Final Play Getaway Contest. You download the Final Play app and enter. And we think it's the best Saints app around, so it's available in your app store for free, absolutely free. Search Final Play Saints, and we give you a chance to win a getaway to a Saints home game. Final Play Getaway Contest. But you have to have the app. So 1st and 10 for the Saints, deep in their own territory now. Back at the 12, down by 1. Ingram in the backfield. And a little waggle action to tie it in. It'll be Josh Hill's first touch. And football out. Alert play, though. It'll maintain possession at the 16. And a smart play by Michael Thomas.
He came back to get it. He was further down the field. I'm surprised he was able to retreat and get back to help out Hill here.
So boy, we're right in your house right now. Pow. Ball's loose. He's in a good position to scoop it up. Otherwise, that could have been turnover number 3 in 1/2.
That's Teron Harmon, who put his helmet on it, the defensive back. Man, on 2nd and about a half dozen. It'll be maybe a yard at the most. No gain of the carry right at the 16. It'll be third down. We're inside of 5 minutes to play. Opening preseason game in the NFL and opening night in the NFL after what happened in Canton, Ohio over the weekend. As the Saints are down by 1, 17-16. And talk about linked together. Mark Ingram.
That's football. I love that. Hey, last couple series, John, we've seen some of the backup offensive linemen start to work there, Hills and a few others. And we talked about there were questions about the depth of this line. Anything that you've seen or noted about this group trying to fill in the gaps?
Well, you're just trying to make your mark. You'll see after this play.
On third down, Snead has it punched away. Flags down. 2 of them in the offensive backfield. It'll be a hold.
For young guys, they're going to make mistakes. It's week 1. But you want to make them go in full speed. That way you can correct them. And that's what we've seen so far. Now, right here, it's Andrus Peay. Just got a little holding call against Chris Long. Does an up and under. These are great reps for him. If he's the right tackle of the future.
Fouls by both teams on the play. Holding. Offense number 75. Illegal use of hands of the face. As the left cornerback of the defense. Those penalties offset. We'll replay third down.
Break for the Saints.
Right here. Here's Chris Long. He's a vet. He knows what he's doing. But these are reps that Pete needs. It's against a guy that's great competition. You get beat underneath. Okay, how do you handle it? Well, you don't get your quarterback hit, so he gives a little jerk to it. But that's a good rep for him. That's a good rep. Did he win? Absolutely not. Will it make him a better player? I hope so.
So now third and still 6. Opportunity and a streak down the sideline. Thomas makes the grab with a flag on the play. Stretching out all 6 feet 3 inches. Michael Thomas. And it's going to be pass interference anyway on the Patriots. So it looks like it was going to be a flag regardless on New England. What a grab by Michael Thomas. Working against Biggers on that side.
That's what he says. Put the ball in my area and I'll make you right.
Pass interference. Defense, number 39. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So we talked about the offsetting penalties and a second chance. Saints capitalize.
You make the most of it, and that's a rookie making plays. He's brought in. Well, there's some hand contact. And he's able to focus. That's pretty impressive for a rookie to be able to do that.
On the give, it's Hightower on the cutback. But how strong is Michael Thomas? He's taken, his hand is being pulled away, yet he brings it back in time to make the grab.
Saints fans, there's a superstar emerging at wide receiver in Michael Thomas. And all he does is back up what you say about him time and time again.
Offense, number 66. Yard penalty. Replay first down.
So when we talk about Michael Thomas, the wide receiver, the 3 wide receivers, Cooks, Willie Snead, Michael Thomas, set right away. And now you're adding to that. That's the battle of the preseason. For the last couple, you either keep 5 or 6 wide receivers.
You got to hope Coleman finally realizes his potential and plays to his side. He would be the 4th in that group.
The mark-off against the Saints. And on first down, double clutcher and out of the reach of Thomas that time. Trying to come back against Biggers to help out his quarterback. And Garrett Grayson before that, 10 of 13. And 10 for his last 12 before that miss. So 10 of 14 overall. And good connections. We saw him on the other sideline with Michael Thomas. So obviously working together in camp, and the communication is building.
That's great for both guys. Michael Thomas can't get enough reps right now. You want to be able to unload the pressure for Cooks. You know the role that Snead's going to play. What can Michael Thomas bring to the table?
Offensive, it's going to be a false start. Too many flags lately.
False start. Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And what about the inflection here? Not many guys on the first unit have worked with Garrett Grayson. So here's Fleener. He's out there with Drew Brees the first 2-3 weeks, isn't he?
No question. Which is, it's good. It's good to switch it up. You get in that comfort zone for the other guys of working with just Drew. Well, God forbid a situation occurs where he's not in the game. You have to be able to work with the next man up.
That last catch for Thomas, his 4th for 67 yards in receiving. Grayson just flips it out as he's all tripped up. It sails past Hightower. Fortunately, nobody in the neighborhood with Hightower. Otherwise, that could have been going the other way. Dangerous.
Well, once again, it's pressure from the right side. It's Pete, who, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure he's taken a rep at right tackle yet, but Chris Long past three reps, rip move underneath, outside swim move, and now he comes back with a bull rush. So 3 plays in a row for the rookie who's projected at right tackle long term, but I'm thinking he's seeing his first reps at right tackle in the game.
Screen is set up, and it never gets underway off the fingertips of Hightower. So after all those possessions with Grayson and in sync and a nice rhythm to the offensive unit, they stuttered that time on a possession that started back at their own 12-yard line. Never got on track.
You talked about Pete. He came in and played right tackle when Zach Strief left the game. But no one in camp on that offensive line has had the workload of Andrus Peat because he's played both tackle positions, both guard positions, has worked with the first team, the second team, moved around the third team. He's put in some work.
Cyrus Jones waits for the Morstead punt. Last one by Thomas was 55 yards. This one on the sideline, no return, and another effective one inside the 30 all the way down to the Patriots 29. Well, we look over at a veteran, Jim Henderson, and the voice of the Saints for so long, and such an excellent broadcaster for so many decades for the Saints, but his partner for all those decades as well, Hokie Gajan, is sorely missed. And we remember him as a great running back for the New Orleans Saints, but you guys, you knew him so well, and we knew him as an even better person. So Jim Henderson, Deuce McAllister, Christian Garrick down on the sideline. Great group.
30 years for Jim Henderson.
Yes, never to be forgotten though. And Hokie, I was lucky just to be around him the last few years here.
A man's man who knew the game and knew how to be a great friend as well. And speaking of great friends, could you have thought of anyone better than your former teammate Deuce McAllister to now step in behind Hokie and become Jim Henderson's new partner?
What a great choice. I mean, Hokie, for anybody who knows him, he was a great guy. When he always had a smile on his face and a good story to tell. And I'm glad that to see Deuce across there to fill those shoes, 2 of the best Saints in history.
Kreider's the motion man on second and about 7. The underneath pattern works, and a nifty move by Malcolm Mitchell. First down for New England. So Mitchell, the rookie from Georgia, who's taken in the 4th round, his second grab of the game, and he's got it. And that was a good move, stopping on a dime and eluding the defensive back for an additional 6-7 yards up to the 47.
Well, that's rookie versus rookie working out there. Crawley battling Mitchell. Robertson in on the play. He's a guy that's good in coverage, and he's trying to get out there for support.
On first down, it'll be Blunt again. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. So 1-point game. Shaky start. Solid overall so far, though, for the Saints as we wind our way down in the first half. All brought to you in part by Visit Baton Rouge. And by Rouse's, the best chefs and cooks. They shop at Rouse's. Don't forget Juan Kincaid, Sean Fazan coming up. They'll fill you in on everything that went on in the first 30 minutes of play. They'll join us at the break. So halftime just 2 minutes away in New England. When you want to measure where you're at, you face the best. And that's why I like the matchup. The Saints getting together this year and last year with the New England Patriots. You find out quickly where you are. As New England has been so consistent, so good for so long now. Winning some of the AFC's titles, we talked about it. So they're dominant in their division. But ever since 2001, it's amazing the run they've had. 4 Super Bowl titles. Garoppolo stays in there. We'll probably see Brissett out of North Carolina State in the second. Another nice grab with the flag down on the play, and that's that receiver that we were talking about out of Georgia. Out of Georgia. How could I talk about a Georgia Bulldog like that? Malcolm Mitchell stinch.
That's all you can talk about. Dogs makes plays. I don't know what to tell you.
Ooh.
That doesn't look good, though, the way he's going off the field. You hate it for Malcolm. He's made a lot of plays.
Pass. Holding by the defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
We ran into him yesterday.
Yep, in the tunnel.
Yep.
He's going straight to the locker room. Look at, I mean,
it did
no
not
hesitation.
look good. You hate it for a guy. That's
Possibly.
You know, for him, he struggled with some injuries at Georgia, but when he's healthy, he makes a lot of plays, and he's made a lot of plays tonight.
Send Carter in motion to set up with the double on the near side. Yeah. Nifty move out of the backfield. And a first down inside the 20. And not a bad run at all by Brandon Bolden on Ole Miss. Showed some speed once he hit the hole.
There was a backdoor crease. He was patient and really found that space between Edabali and right there was Richardson, but no support from secondary or second level in that hole.
Onyemata kind of gets sealed off in that crease, and he's so raw. I think there's something there, but there's so much to learn for him and be able to handle that situation. John, that's not football 101 stuff at this level.
No,
and
it's gap assignment. You have to know where you fit in the defense, and it only takes one mistake at this level when you seal a guy who shouldn't be in the gap, and then you get a big play like that. So it really, for him, for a young guy who is raw, he's very raw. He needs to get out there and understand he's going to get ripped for that play once you get back in to the defensive line meeting room, and you're going to get those lessons. You learn from him, you build from him, and for someone who's raw, those reps really can pay off as long as you can learn and build.
Yeah, and it's going to take a while. The level of competition, he's out of Manitoba, 4th round pick. So, and remind everybody, this is the second and thirds that are already in the game now on the defensive side for the Saints. The second's at the linebacker spot. We've seen Robertson in there and a couple of other second stringers.
Against a Patriot offensive line, you're going to see a number of guys come September.
It's James White. He's got it going low inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
Nick Fairley in there causing some problems.
It looked like Tyler Davison was not fired up about something.
Receiving word now that they're looking at the forearm of Malcolm Mitchell. Unfortunately, the way it went off, he was in a lot of pain. So Tyler Davison coming off. Michael Thomas, the story offensively, though, for the Saints.
How's he doing? He's doing pretty good. He showed up, made a number of plays, showed that he's got great hands, great focus, fights through some hand-to-hand combat, and he's ready to make plays.
First impressions are everything, aren't they? I love this one.
Now he's got to show consistency. He's had a great first half. You got to keep building.
Well,
yeah, confidence level, though.
Yep.
And he's out of a big program. You come out of a winning program, and the expectations are different. So Michael Thomas, very impressive in his preseason debut. White stays in the backfield. After the timeout with 1:39 to play. Dan working his way up the middle. Another nifty run by James White. So they're close to the first down. Looks like they're about a half-yard shy. Defensive coordinator Dennis Allen making the calls.
Aaron Glenn is right next to Dennis Allen there. That's your guy in charge of this improved secondary right now. What a huge addition to this coaching staff he has been. A former Texas A&M Aggie who's connected with another Aggie in Devontae Harris. A former player who's done nothing but take defensive secondaries and improve them, most notably at Cleveland.
It'll be blunt. Needs a little less than a yard, and he gave up a hole trying to pick up a big gain, and he loses yardage because it was available, and then he angled over to the right side, Stinch.
That's it. You want to get a big back like that to make jump cuts, stop his feet, and they were able to do that. Going back to Aaron Glenn, when he was on the team with the Saints, he was coaching up guys then. It's obvious that he's got a passion for the game. He's got unbelievable knowledge and is willing to share it.
Now can they get a stop on 4th and a couple inside the 10? Empty backfield, bunch on the far side of 3. Garoppolo looks to that side, into the end zones, in and out. Good play by Stupar, not to quit on the play as he tried to thread it through to James White.
Well, James White has his hands on the ball. Stupar does not quit, and it ends up in an incomplete pass. You give up on this play, and it's a touchdown. They just brought Stephon Anthony off he was limping off the field, so he has to step up. That could be a touchdown if Stupar doesn't get his hands on the ball and keep fighting. That's one of those catch rules where you got to make some kind of, who knows the verbiage that they're using these days. That wasn't a catch.
So Stupar, he's seen a lot of reps here in the second quarter on a warm, muggy night in New England. I don't know if you saw the numbers at the start of the game, and it's dropped a little bit temperature-wise, but the humidity was north of 80%, so better than 80% humidity, and it feels much warmer. A snap, a knee, and that'll do it for the first half. A productive first half. We talked about Michael Thomas, and for the most part, for the first-team defense. So the studio is going to take it for us. They'll break it all down, look at some of the numbers as well. We'll join Juan Kincaid and Sean Vazan on the Saints TV network at the half. In the NFL, welcome back to Omar's, John Stinchcomb, Sean Kelly, and moments on both sides of the ball. Let's start with the offense. A sloppy start, but then Garrett Grayson found a rhythm.
You take out those 2 turnovers. Turnovers are big. You can't have them in your game, but everything else seemed very positive. Michael Thomas made a lot of plays. Grayson looked good, making some checks at the line and some good throws.
And moments on the defensive side as well. Last couple of drives gave up ground game more than even through the air.
But earlier, Kasim Edebali with 2 sacks. I thought the linebackers showed very well, especially that first unit. There's more speed on this defense. They seem more comfortable. I thought they did very well, especially back in the first quarter.
And frequently we've been talking about a wide receiver that has been a very big wide receiver. And it's time now for a high-speed connection. Brought to you by Cox. All the internet speed you need today and tomorrow. And the speed is there with Michael Thomas, the rookie, on the outside.
Well, he looked good. He's fast. He plays very competitively with those DBs, and his hands look strong. One of those plays, the defensive back was pulling on his hand. He's able to focus and still bring it in. Very impressive first half for a rookie coming out of Ohio State.
4 catches. He was targeted 5 times, 67 yards. He also recovered a fumble, but let's not forget that. He had the presence of mind to come back and help out Josh Hill when he put one on the turf.
So Michael Thomas, the focal point, and connecting early with Garrett Grayson. And 2 touchdowns, they belong to Mark Ingram. Both were short. And as you look at some of the halftime numbers, well, they got out of their system early, didn't they? They cleaned it up after those early turnovers. The fumble by Ingram, the interception throw on the deflection off the fingertips, Brandon Coleman. And then Michael Thomas showed up big. Both teams experimenting with the 2-point conversions. And in the passing department, Garrett Grayson started 10 of 12. He missed his last 4. So he's finished 10 of 16 for 133 yards. And he should be done after what John DeShazer learned earlier from Sean Payton. It should be Luke McCown taking over for the second half. It'll belong to the Patriots. And it's going to be
Happy
Bentley
Meal,
bringing it back a couple of yards into the
cheeseburgers,
end zone. Spun across the 21 and then waiting as he goes right into the arms of Jordan Williams-Lambert, the wideout, the rookie at Ball State, trying to make the squad. So when you look at a guy like Williams-Lambert, a Davenport, and Davenport has looked good at times as well. He's wearing number 85, Jared, and I said Davenport, Jared Dangerfield, another rookie, potentials for the practice squad, a rookie out of Western Kentucky.
There's a lot of guys out here trying to make their mark. Who can be seen not only in special teams, but offensive and defensive respectively. What can you add to this team?
Jacoby Brissett, the rookie out of North Carolina State, a 3rd-round pick, has taken over now. Garoppolo played the entire first half. Of course, Tom Brady's going to miss the first 4 games of the season. He is not suited up tonight. On the run, it's out for a couple of yards. Brissett, a good size, 6'4", 235. He started at Florida, finished his college career with 2 seasons at NC State, and really efficient. 20 touchdowns, only 6 picks last year for the Wolfpack.
Well, if anything, Belichick knows how to pick a good quarterback, so that's promising for Brissett.
Tyler Gaffney stays in the backfield. And on a design roll, it's complete to DeAndre Carter. And he's bumped out of bounds. He was short of the first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and a couple We talked about the halftime numbers and the individuals at least with Garrett Grayson. Pretty even though, total yards, time of possession as well, although the Saints dominated time of possession until the last 2 drives. They were efficient for Jimmy Garoppolo and New England. And that's why they've got the lead now, coming out of the locker room by 1. So can the Saints get a stop on the first 3rd down of the second half? Brissett on a tough throw and a flag. There was a lot of contact from Brian Dixon. You saw the hands up. You didn't see the ball. He got the receiver, though, didn't he?
You got 5 yards. You can make contact for 5 yards. Once you extend past that, you can't bump the receiver. You can't push him in the chest. I think that's what they're seeing right here. It's one-on-one coverage. They had the other side in a zone-type situation, but you can see a lot of contact right there all the way through the play.
There were 2 fouls at the play, both by the defense. Illegal contact, defense number 20. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense number 20. That penalty is accepted. Ball will be spotted at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
It's a first.
It's either one or the other, but
not only did you make contact before the throw, but you made contact through the throw.
Yes.
I think that's what they're saying.
So the call on Dixon. It goes out to the 44. Man, it's going to be a first down for Brissett and New England. Out of the backfield, Gaffney. He's out of Stanford, a 6th-round pick of Carolina in 2014. He has not been able to stay healthy, though. In fact, his first 2 years out of Stanford on injured reserve. Stupar, right now, one of the stalwarts defensively. We saw him in the 2nd quarter. He stays out there now with Craig Robertson, so they're getting a lot of snaps. 2nd into the 3rd quarter. The backup linebackers. 2nd and 9. No pressure, and almost picked off right through the hands of the defensive back, Von Bell, the safety. Got to make those plays. Let's head over to John DeShazer.
Joel, we saw Nate Stupar make a really nice defensive play at the end of the first half. One thing we've noticed about Stupar, pretty feisty guy. He started a little tiff in training camp practice against center Jack Allen. Didn't go over so well. His teammates had to settle him down, tell him, look, we have to take care of one another. And we saw him make a nice play defensively at the end of the first half, Joel.
Yeah, Stupar is going to be a constant on specials, backup linebackers. And another jumped on that route and almost picked off that time. So they went for the tight end, and it was Eric Harris who read it beautifully. But you got to start making plays if you want to take over the football in plus territory on the other side of the 50. Come up. Roman Harper spoiled us, didn't he, with those kinds?
yeah, he did. And Eric Harris is one of these 2 defensive backs coming into this program. Von Bell, obviously, who let that interception go through his hands. Now Harris, who comes from the CFL on the recommendation of Delvin Breaux.
Allen punts it away. Travaris Cadet will bring it back and makes a miss. Good return across the 25 with the flag down. So he's down just shy of the 30.
You look back at those 2nd and 3rd down plays, 2 opportunities to come up with turnovers and 2 missed opportunities for young guys trying to make an impression.
And I'll say this, look, we've seen this defense get takeaways during training camp.
Illegal block on the back. Number 57 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. New Orleans ball, first down.
So a block at the back, but still, Saints will have it when we come back, down by 1. Welcome back once again to New Orleans, and it's great to have you with us on the Saints TV network, not only in New Orleans, on Fox 8, but in our region, Baton Rouge, WAFB, as well as Jackson in Mississippi at WDBD. Our friends in Birmingham, Alabama, watching tonight on WBRC. Joel Myers, Sean Kelly, John Stinchcomb, John DeShazer, and Sean Payton getting ready for another season with the Saints. And I want to get into that story because it's real interesting. The last time the Saints under Sean Payton dry in back-to-back seasons, I'm talking about postseason, Marcus Murphy going low for good yardage on first down.
There's a nice crease right there.
Goes low and gets lost.
opens up right through the middle, right between the tackles, right through there. And as he goes, I'm not sure he gets touched. He makes that one cut, gets his feet barely tangled up, and then he'd be one-on-one with a safety.
So it's going to be second and short. Luke McCown at quarterback. That was the plan. Low throw, and a good job by adjusting Marcus Murphy with the ball thrown behind him for a first down. Now, I mentioned with Sean Payton on the sideline, never underestimate a hungry Sean Payton, especially after, you remember in 2007, after the great first year, Saints went 7-9. 2008, they went 8-8. And then 13-3. I think you remember that in 2009, just a little bit, and a Super Bowl title.
Some plays. CTE is real, Joel, but what a great year that was.
Now, McCown out on the edge. And a good throw on first down. A bullet's complete to Tommy Lee Lewis. Little guy, great name, and a lot of game.
Northern Illinois. By the way, a high school teammate of the current quarterback for the Patriots, Preseason. But here's Tommy Lee Lewis, who was injured near the latter portion of his college career, ends up on the radar of Bill Parcells, who sells him to Sean Payton and gets him into camp.
Murphy got the first down. Good toss and a quick hitter on the quick toss. I like it. First down about 5-6, but back to Tommy Lewis, who's a really good story.
So Parcells is friends with Lewis's high school coach. This is all in South Florida. And finds this speed and this grit. And he couldn't get over how much grit this guy had. Now, we all know Parcells and Payton, too. They love size. They value size, especially at this position. Parcells said, hey, you're not going to like his 5'7" stature, but you're going to love everything else.
He makes plays. That's what it boils down to. On first down on a play fake. And now on isolation and single coverage. Flag. It'll be up against the defensive back on that side of the field, Darryl Roberts, trying to cover Tommy Lee Lewis, second-year Marshall man. Guy that was a 7th rounder last year.
We talk about guys like Pierre.
Defense, number 27. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
We talk about guys like Pierre Thomas, Willie Snead of a year ago. John, you heard Drew Brees talking about it yesterday to the media. It's guys like Tommy Lee Lewis that not necessarily come out of nowhere. They just force themselves on the roster. They do things that make you keep them.
First possession of the second half. It'll be Marcus Murphy trying to get lost. Maybe a yard. That's about it. Just inside the 30. And by the way, on the last play, you saw the safety coming over. Former Saint Vinny Sunseri wearing number 42. Trying to stick here in New England.
Glad he's back from injury. Great guy.
And that's what you have to understand during the preseason. You're auditioning not only for your own team, but there's 31 others. Sunseri's a great example of that. Didn't get a ton of reps regular season, but you had a lot of film in preseason making plays.
McCown spreads him out on second and long. Empty backfield. Underneath it goes. Cadets got it. Man, it's a good gain of about 7, maybe 8. No, manageable now. Give him 7. It'll be 3rd and 3.
I think that's what Luke McCown brings to the table is he's able to move the sticks. He understands what you need. He doesn't force plays into bad situations, and he puts you in a 3rd and short situation.
So can they convert? Hit 2 of the first 5 in the first half. It's Cadet. He's got blockers. Tony Hill's out in front. He's right there at the marker. Let's see where they spot it, though. Should be enough. Yep, inside the 30, down to the 29. Move the sticks.
And I'm glad you said that about McCown, because I think in this conversation right now in the NFL about a crisis of lack of backup quarterbacks, good quality number 2 guys, I think the Saints are blessed with Luke McCown, who's been there for years now, but he's put together a great camp. Heck, listen, he almost beat Carolina at Carolina last season in that spot start.
He's in his 4th season with the Saints. 13th year out of Louisiana Tech. Cadet hops his way through the hole. He's brought down after a gain of about 2 or 3 inside of 9 with the clock rolling left in the 3rd quarter. We remind you tonight's scoreboard brought to you by Rouse's, the best chefs and cooks. Shop at Rouse's, and I do, in the Warehouse District. And I can't cook a lick. But I love Rouse's.
I used to get mine there too.
2nd and 8 from the 18-yard line. And single coverage in the end zone, and recovering just in time, the defensive back Jonathan Jones, the rookie out of Auburn, to pop it away from Michael Thomas. If it's a little taller, you give the 6'3" guy on a jump ball a chance.
Well, it's a one-on-one ball. Make a play, try to make me right. Like you say, maybe a little bit more length. Michael Thomas got a better opportunity to make a catch right there. It really ends up bouncing off of his helmet. So didn't really get his head around to make the play, but you can see Thomas is fighting for every ball.
3rd and 8 at the 18. Opening possession, second half, started back at the 17 of the Saints. And a bullet and a first down. Good grab. Spinning for a couple of extra. R.J. Harris out of New Hampshire. Practice squad guy last year, and he's doing nothing to hurt his chances in camp so far this year.
It's what you want to do when you get a ball thrown your way. You want to make a catch and move the sticks. Really, what I've been impressed with is you've got a rotated offensive line. These are guys that haven't played much in the first half. They've come out, provided good protection and some good holes in the run game.
So now it's a 1st and goal from McCown on his first series of the night. He's got Murphy as the single to the backfield. And looks in the corner, and it's intercepted. It'll go the other way. No, now they're going to say he was touched while he was down. An alert play just the same by the D-back. Cleavon Blank, the rookie out of Florida Atlantic, to get up with it. So a tough one. Another turnover.
Well, it's one-on-one coverage, and Luke's trying to throw a back shoulder right there, but really it looks like Harris has over the top. He's over the top of the cornerback.
Welcome back once again. So McCown picked off in the end zone. Breeze started the game, one throw complete for 37 yards. He's only on for 3 snaps. Impressive stretch for Garrett Grayson as Brissett throws to the tight end and makes it available. And what a grab going up. A.J. Derby gets it in his 2nd year from Arkansas. Their 6th round pick last year, but he didn't play. He was on injured reserve. But he's had a good camp. Saw him over the last couple of days here.
Well, Schotmer's running step for step with him as the linebacker. You have over the top help from your safety. And Brissett just puts the ball in a place where only the tight end can make the catch. It was a great ball.
Threw it high enough for the big guy, and he brought it down. So a little more than halfway through the 3rd quarter in New England. Davis Tull trying to get to the quarterback. And another accurate throw, and again to A.J. Derby. Well, when you look at this game at 17-16, don't forget Mark Ingram put it on the ground. It would have been points. They turned the ball over. That's on the opening possession in the red zone. And then on the ensuing possession, Garrett Grayson's first, pick 6 goes the other way. Collins off a deflection of Coleman. There's points on the board from their defense. And now more points and an opportunity for scoring for the Saints given away in the red zone on that pick by Blank. So wasted opportunities. Cut back and a good one at that. Look out. It's Gaffney. He's got speed and he's in. Touchdown New England. Nobody home on the backside.
Once again, it's that backdoor cut from the running back. He presses forward, makes that backdoor cut. There's no one home. And once you're at that second level, if you overrun the play and they cut back, they have any speed, it's wide open. So we'll come this way. Watch Schotmer right here. See what he does. He presses forward. He looks like he has that gap. Now, with that said, Von Bell should be coming downhill and covering that backdoor cut as a safety. You got to press in there. You got to hit it.
So the lead is 7. Will it be 8? Gostkowski, usually automatic. The 33-yard extra point try. He's got it. And it's back to an 8-point advantage with 6:22 to play in the 3rd. So don't forget that's points off a turnover. Granted, it's a long field. They got it after the pick at their own 20. But the Patriots capitalize once again. Now the Saints have 6. We talked about 4 backs will make it. Right now just 41 on all those carries. 41 yards on the ground for the Saints thus far, as we're a little past the halfway point of the third quarter. Welcome back once again as we continue in New England. An 8-point lead for the Patriots, 24-16 with 6:22 to play. And we talked about points off giveaways. That's officially 15-0 in points off mistakes. But as we both know, it's also the opportunities you don't capitalize on. They're just as valuable, and the opportunity to pick. They had back-to-back plays where they could have had interceptions that we saw earlier in the second half, and they didn't make plays out of the secondary. So it is preseason game number 1. They're finding out the talent's there. There's no question about that. And it's an 8-point game in New England. Tonight's Saints game brought to you in part by Cox. Saints fans, get right to the good stuff with the new Contour Sports app from Cox. You can watch the Saints live, track multiple games at once, and it's all right there on your TV. Saints get it back, 1st and 10 at their own 25. Luke McCown continues at quarterback. Marcus Murphy, second-year man out of Mizzou. Here's your tailback. Man, the Saints, their deepest deficit, down by 8 once again. Not much available over the left side. Murphy made the most of it. Gets about 3.5.
Well, not a lot of space right there, but I think this is what the game boils down to. 3 takeaways for the Patriots, and they get 15 points out of the deal.
And New England very good last year. When we talk about turnover differential, New England 5th in the NFL. At the end of the year, they were +7 on the season. Murphy, cutback, maybe 2. Chopped down and good penetration. Coming up with Sheldon, or check that. It was Vincent Valentine, the rookie out of Nebraska. Underneath tackle at 6'3", 320. Yeah, looked pretty mobile. So now it's going to be a 3rd down for McCown and the offense. 4 of 7 of the 3rd down conversions. Trips on the bottom, the wide side of your screen. And on a single, it's Harris. Can't hang on. Not a bad throw at all by Luke McCown. Working against Jonathan Jones, the rookie out of Auburn.
That's a couple of good pass breakups by Jones now.
I think Luke puts it in a spot where his receiver has a chance to make a play. Harris just not able to bring it all the way in right there.
Bentley back deep, waiting for the Morstead punt. And Morstead, of course, the constant in camp. Quad injury bothered him last year. He's 100% this year, and hangs up another beauty. Oh, there's another mistake, and things that you look at as Ken Crawley never really located the football. So as well as he's looked in the secondary on special teams, he'll figure it out.
I think he was surprised it hung up in the air so long. That's Morstead putting a ton of air under the ball.
Kick catch interference by the kicking team, number 46. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. New England's ball, 1st down. Timeout.
This one's pretty clear to call from up here. Now Crawley's trying to make a play. He's trying to be a special teams player, but as soon as you see that hand go up, you got to pull off.
So Ken Crawley, a rookie, undrafted out of Colorado, trying to make the squad. He leads the squad in picks in camp, but a long way to go on special teams.
Well, you want to make an impact, but you want to make a positive one. That's a guy trying to make a play, and he's pressing a little bit too hard.
So the Markov takes it out to the 41-yard line. Good field position for Jacoby Brissett. Man, it's a false start. Want to remind everybody, and thank you for joining us once again.
Offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
As we continue on the Saints TV network tonight in Foxborough. Next week, we're in Houston at Reliant, another playoff team for the AFC last year. And good to hear from people that have already texted us here in the booth from Monroe watching the game on KNOE. So thank you for all your loyalty in Monroe. Thrown way behind is DeAndre Carter. And he also knew there was heat coming. So he realized it wasn't going anywhere.
Nope. Three-step drop.
Right. It's gone.
Missed his mark.
Saints coverage from Crowley. And now they've got Dixon on one side. There's Gaffney and Isefa in the backfield. He comes late and can't be handled. And we talked about making plays. Eric Harris, another opportunity. He's in his second year out of California, Pennsylvania. That is 3 potential picks the D-backs have had today.
You know, and I think that one of the signs of improvement for this defense, look, you want them to finish that and take the ball away, but simply just being in a position to take the ball away is a big difference from what we saw a year ago. Just being in the right spot. I know that sounds really simple, Stinch, but that's what Dennis Allen's trying to get this defense to do.
Let's start with the basics. Let's get you in a spot to make a play. Now we need you to make a play, but at least you're in the right spot to make a play.
3rd and 15 out of the gun. Pocket starts to collapse. Gaffney makes one miss, but that is it. Good coverage downfield as they converge on the tailback. Over there, Shetmer. So it's going to be 4th down.
In conjunction with Shetmer, you had Tapp out there, dropped into coverage. They were just playing the field position game right there. Everything underneath's okay. Let's tackle them. No yards after the catch. Let them punt.
Yeah, one of the positives, let's face it, Patriots are just 2 of 10 now after that failure on 3rd down. So things to clean up. 6 penalties, 68 yards so far, 3 turnovers, 15-0 in points off mistakes. As Cadet is buried back inside the 20 at about the 17. And that's where Luke McCown and the offense will get it. Well, as we celebrate and get ready for the 50th anniversary season, Drew Brees, and we're going to have these questions throughout the preseason. Drew Brees, the only quarterback to throw for 4,000 in a year. What other Saint quarterback came oh so close to 4,000? Jim Everett, 30 yards away back in 1992. I like those unis. How about those uniforms?
Good look. Strong.
Good luck. And we're spoiled by that man's work. Underneath, there's Tommy Lee making a miss. Close to a 1st down. Tommy Lee Lewis, he's got it for about 9. Try to catch him. And we've seen, I don't want to compare him to Darren Sproles because that says every little guy looks the same. And it's not identical, but the make a miss kind of thing.
I'll give you the comparison after this play.
It'll be 2nd. I know what Sean Payton said.
That's where I'm going with this, yeah.
David Patton, but. And now, need a yard. Cadet gets a lot more than that as he takes it all the way out of the 35-yard line.
David Patton is one of the more respected players that Sean Payton has come into contact with over his career. So I don't think that Sean Payton's going to throw around the David Patton comparison just willy-nilly. But that's exactly who he said that Tommy Lee Lewis reminded him of.
Well, that's a huge honor. As a former teammate of Patton, he brought a lot to the table.
Pick up the blitz on the outside. Crossing pattern. Harris hangs on this time, and he's got about 6 on the completion. Out to the 40. Well, I like guys that aren't afraid to go between the seams. And we already see Tommy Lee Lewis does not mind grabbing it between the hash marks.
Oh, he plays with an edge. He's fearless, Joe.
So it's good to see, despite the size, the motor. Can't measure the man's motor, and he's got a huge motor. It'll be 2nd and 4. Cadet with a flag down. That comes from the linesman on the far side. Somebody lined up offside potentially. Usually they tell guys, don't they, on the edge?
Oh, they'll back you up if they can.
Offside. Defense, number 59, lined up in the neutral zone. It's a 5-yard penalty. Results in a 1st down.
Yeah, a lot of times they say 59, you're off, and they'll give you a warning. So 5-3 and a 1st down.
Looking back at it, you see the center position right here. There's a little bit of confusion. You got to keep your eyes on that Mike linebacker, or else he'll run right past you.
First down for the 45. Tight end on the spin takes it in.
I see a Rashawn Allen showing folks you're an athlete.
Second year out of Southern. Southern at Tulane, September 10th.
Yes.
At Tom Benson Field, second Saturday of the college football season.
Allen all of a sudden, in the first 2 weeks of camp, went through this little stretch where you couldn't take your eyes off of him. And then he kind of disappeared again. I'm glad to see him come back here and show us something tonight.
Second, a little more than 4. Lasco's first carry of his professional career bounces for a first down. And this is another young man that the staff likes a lot, not only because of his running ability, but his fearless play on special teams.
He blew the combine numbers and leaping ability, both vertical and broad, off the charts. And one of the things that prompted Sean Payton to fight for him to be the 7th round draft choice is just what you mentioned, Joel. He loves special teams, especially going down and knocking somebody to the ground on kickoffs.
He's out of Cal. Strawberry Canyon played in Berkeley. And on the play fake. Will it be a hold? It is a hold on the tight end, Allen. It falls incomplete. It was coming back anyway. So he was working on the outside. Tried to hook Trey Flowers, the lineman.
Offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Wow, they call it on the offensive lineman. I think he took one for the team there. Sorry, Stinch.
Yep, that happens. We'll just.
That was Tyrus Thompson they called it on, but it looked like, didn't it look like the tight end?
To me, they threw the flag right at Allen right here at the edge of your screen. Thomas actually, he's the one who gets the call, but it's a play action pass. He pulls up. It's obviously on Allen right there. You can't call that on the right tackle. He did great.
That's 7th penalty, 78 yards.
Come on.
Underneath, Lasco. Put down at the midfield stripe. Give him to the 49.
We'll be going home, or he'll be going home next week. Looking forward to playing that second preseason game at NRG Stadium in Houston. He's from the Woodlands area, just outside of downtown Houston.
11-foot 3-inch broad jump.
There's the jumping ability that I was talking
You
about.
had that.
Yeah, it would take me 2 jumps.
and no pit available. So the penalties taking the steam out of this one, but still the ball at the 49. Can they negotiate about 15 yards and 2 snaps? Murphy in a slot position, falls down and still makes the catch. He can't believe that the ball was even thrown to him. I gotta feel that he. So that's going to be most likely the last snap, and that's got to be a smile because to go down and the ball is there.
It's great throw by Luke.
There you go. There's this.
He's smirking at it.
Sean Payton's like, I don't believe it either.
Yep. If he kept his feet, the play that could have been made right there.
So very alert, Marcus Murphy, as the Saints play catch up as we get ready for the 4th quarter. We get ready for the start of the 4th quarter. We'd like to give you a chance to win a getaway to a Saints home game. Sweet seats, accommodations as well with our Final Play Getaway Contest. If you download the Final Play app, enter. We think it's the best Saints app around, but you got to enter and go to download the Final Play app. It's available and it's absolutely free in the App Store. So search Final Play Saints and get involved with a chance to win. So now, Saints get ready for the final 15 minutes of the preseason opener. Look at a 3rd and long. As they turn things around, the Saints 4 of 8 on the 3rd down tries. They started for the Saints. We're back inside their own 20 at the 16. So good stuff on film. A lot of things to break down for Sean Payton and his staff over the first 3 quarters, and things they'll like. Guys in position to make plays. Maybe they didn't make them, but the opportunity to capitalize was there. Unfortunately, it's the preseason. It's not the regular season.
Yeah, and I think one of the guys that's going to benefit from a ton of film today is Garrett Grayson because of all the snaps that he got in the first half.
And against 1st and 2nd unit guys by the New England Patriots. Cadet wheels out of the backfield, and now it's a first down. And what a grab over the middle. We talked about it. Tommy Lee Lewis gets him 1st and goal down to the 7. I like that.
Luke just threw a dart. That was straight down the middle. He had great protection. The pocket was clean. You see little Tommy Lee. You can't call that man little. He's coming up big. Across the middle, great catch right in front of the safety.
So first and goal, and it's going to be a false start.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Quarterback Stinch seemed like he wanted to get to the line quicker than his linemen. It seemed like they were not in sync as a unit.
Yeah, sometimes when you change the cadence, the feel of addressing the line, it gets you a little antsy. See right there, Thompson's ready to play. A little bit too antsy.
Trips up top. On first and goal from the 12, McCown has it tapped away from Lasco. And an outstanding play by the safety. And that was Kamu Brazier Hill, the rookie from Eastern Illinois. Boy, Eastern Illinois guy.
Another one. Garoppolo's from Eastern Illinois. So is Sean Payton. The Panthers in Charleston, Illinois.
Yeah, I had to bring it up. The head coach. Second and goal from the 12.
You ever been to Charleston?
You like it that much. A little waggle action for the fullback. It's complete inside the 5. Down to the 4. Homa, the running back. The rookie out of Michigan, takes it in.
Little bootleg action. Your fullback comes underneath. Wide open. The linebacker's trying to scrape over top. By the time he recognizes, Homa's already inside the 5.
So it'll be third and goal at the 4. 8-point game. Time for McCown. Man underneath. He's got it. Touchdown Saints. Taking it in. Reggie Bell. Young man out of the University of San Diego. Signed at the practice squad for the Saints last October. And is it going to be 2?
Looks like they're leaving their offense out. McCown doing a great job of distributing the ball and throwing some strikes down the middle.
Yeah, nobody's going to question his velocity.
He can sling it.
It'll be now. Can they tie it up? Lasco in the backfield. And McCown out of the shotgun. Looked one way. And jump ball. Throws it away. So it's still a 2-point lead, but a successful drive. And a long one and a couple of big third down conversions. An 84-yard drive on the third possession of the second half. So the Saints get their first points of the second half to make it a 2-point game. Welcome back once again into the 2-point game. We're in Foxborough at 13:39 left in regulation. So make Cade McCown a long touchdown drive for the Saints. And now the guys on the bubble. And I know it's only the first preseason game, but they get an opportunity over the first 3 preseason games to make their mark on special teams. Let's see how it pays off here. No guarantees for a lot of guys. 90 men, 53 make the roster. Bentley takes it to the goal line. And good kick coverage. You just get barely out to the 20-yard line, and that'll do it.
Well, that's Lasco right there.
Yep.
Beat a block, fought through another to be in on the tackle.
And asking the kicker also to leave it a little short, because now a touchback takes the ball out to the 25. Sean Payton and other head coaches have talked about maybe we try to induce a return because we think we can keep that return inside the 25. Here's Daniel Lasco now. We just talked about him earlier about his ability to make plays on special teams, especially on kickoff coverage.
That's solo.
Yeah.
That's big. Went through 2 guys to get to him.
That's what you want to do.
From the 20. Tall toss. And it's taken in by a big receiver, Dotson at 6'3". Second-round pick in 2013. So Lasco appreciating the reps, the snaps here that he's getting and capitalizing on in the second half.
And a potential leader, too. You know, he was injury hampered in his senior season at Cal, yet his teammates still voted him as a captain. He was a very, very respected leader of the Bears.
Comes in prepared for this opportunity. There's no question about that. It's 2nd and 6. Little delay action. Didn't fool the Saints. No gain on that carry. It'll be 3rd down. So now change to the package for the Saints. coming onto the field. Next in the secondary is Brandon Dixon, twin brother of Brian Dixon, on third and about 6.
Yep, and Michael Motti in on the tackle right there, a guy who made some big plays last year on special teams, trying to prove that he can play some linebacker too.
So can they get the stop on third down? A lot of time to pass well behind Dobson. So breakdown there for Jacoby Brissett, who would look good in his first couple of series. But now it's the Saints 3 and out with a punt. And as I go back to it, it was 2 for 10. Now the Patriots 2 for 11 on their third down attempts. Playing without Tom Brady tonight, of course. Garoppolo in the first half. Jacoby Brissett here in the second half. And Ryan Allen in to punt it away. Travaris Cadet wakes back deep. Pretty punt. Room though for Cadet from the 26. Flag is coming back. Whatever he gets, and it's not much, across the 35. So an illegal block. We remind you tonight's scoreboard brought to you by Rouse's, the best chefs and cooks. Shop at Rouse's. So opening night in the NFL. About 6 games, I believe, on the schedule tonight to get everybody prepared.
And the
In
pain.
the return, illegal block in the back. Number 43 of the return team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It's New Orleans ball. First down. Timeout.
And the paint on the field is held up, unlike in Canton.
And it looks good. They're used to it around here and used to winning. Well, Cam Jordan didn't suit up tonight. Didn't need to, though. He's been spectacular so far in camp. Guy that went to his second Pro Bowl last year. And Sean, you were in camp with him, celebrating over the last couple of weeks.
No doubt. Well,
Birth
first
of
of
his
all,
new child, little
birth
girl.
of a new child. He's been away from the team up until either this morning or late yesterday. Noel Glory is his second child, the new baby girl born earlier this week. So he did not participate in the combined practices with the Patriots. No need, really. He has been unblockable in camp, and he might be the best-looking athlete on the field right now for the Saints through the first couple of weeks.
Saints get it back. Now can they get the lead for the first time of the second half? Murphy's going to be caught from behind. Took a while to develop. He's chopped down. No gain on the carry. It'll make it 2nd and 10.
Well, if you're looking for an area of improvement for this offense, it's going to be in the run game. Haven't really been able to break many free, and I think statistically, you look at yards per carry, it's not going to be great at the end of the night.
No. And that's work. Offensive line gets in sync with the running backs. Mark Ingram has not been on the field since, what, mid part of the first half? And he's going to get the bulk of the load. We know that. McCown out of the gun on 2nd and about 10. And it's available. He's got a first down to his tight end. And it's taken in by Chris Manhurst out of Canisius, who was on the Saints practice squad last year. So I talked about Manhurst and a couple of others. The opportunity to impress, even if it's not for the 53, bringing back to the practice squad once again. Lasco just slams it up the middle. Very little available. And he's not a finesse guy to begin with. It'll be a gain of a couple, making it 2nd and 8.
Speaking of tight ends, we talked about Human tonight. You know, he was a Patriot last year until his acquisition by the Saints.
Been out
He's
there,
in that
he hasn't
mix
had
as
a
well.
touch, but he's been out there for a couple of snaps. He's been on the field, but has not had one thrown in his direction. Out pattern, and it was available, a low and wide one for Harris. So now 3rd and long coming up for the Saints, but Lasco, a good story as a 7th round pick.
Yep, and he's made plays both from the running back position and in special teams. Found an opening on the backside of that run, and he squirts it out of the middle right there, gets a catch. So he's done a little bit of everything so far tonight. So for a guy like that, you just want to be noticed, and for the right reasons. So far, he's been able to do that.
Saints 5 of 9 on their 3rd downs. A lot of time, but it collapses, and McCown can't get away and puts the ball on the ground. Gives it away. Touchdown, New England. From bad to worse, Trey Flowers.
Left
21.
guard gets edged. If you're Luke McCown, you see it's a bad situation. You see a defender in your face. Protect the ball, take the loss, live for another day. But like you say, it goes from bad to worse. Protect the football right there. Also, as an offensive lineman, you get beat. Don't just watch. Get back there in case that situation happens. You can try to make a tackle, hop on the ball, something.
So with 30 on the board and a potential 31st, 22 are going to come off turnovers. So we talked about the mistakes, the turnovers. Too many penalties. Saints have 9 for 93 tonight. So plenty of things for the coaches to go over and plenty of time left to play catch up with 10:26 to play. Gostkowski, extra point. And it's a 9-point game. The biggest lead of the night for New England.
When you start the game as an offense, there's always something at the top, and it says protect the football.
Yeah, the Denver defense picking up right where they left off. At Chicago, no less. Up by 22 in the fourth. Good one going on between Baltimore and Carolina. Dan Snyder, he might fire the entire crew, losing by 6 to open the preseason. How about those Eagles? Who's their quarterback? Oh, they're going to rotate.
Good luck with that.
And about the Jets, up by 4 late. Welcome back, Cadet. Waiting for the kick from Gostkowski. We've got 10:26 to play, so at least a couple of possessions left in this game for the Saints to overtake New England. But 22 of the 31 points given away off turnovers. Well, it was great. The Gulf Coast was honored. The region felt great about what happened at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. An incredible quarterback went in Brett Favre, and another one who died way too soon went in as well. And his son, very emotional. There's Freddie Bolitnikoff, one of his favorite targets there. Kenny Stabler. What a guy he was.
Honored way too late in my eyes, too.
Yeah. So we're looking at a future Hall of Famer. There's no question about that. Drew Brees is definitely destined for Canton. Nice play after the catch by Lasco.
Yeah.
So the opportunity is there for a lot of guys that are second and third teamers right now on the field. And this is exactly the way New England won last year, 26-24 at the Dome. Came from behind.
Yep, that's right. As a matter of fact, Sean Payton is 0-3 as a head coach in preseason game against the Patriots. All those games decided by a grand total of 6 points.
So can they make it up? 3 timeouts still on the board. Clock moving inside of 10 to play. Underneath. Talked about the young man. And that is Dangerfield making the grab. Big. He just stands out from Western Kentucky. Another Palm Beach County guy out of Florida. You were talking about Tommy Lee Lewis as well. Jared Dangerfield goes at 6'3", 215.
Yeah, good size. I think Joel, he's one of 5 guys fighting for one spot on that 53-man at wide receiver. And Tommy Lee Lewis at the moment is the leader of that group. Plenty of football to be played, though.
Yeah, look at those numbers for the Hilltoppers, though. Underneath, good night. Flag on the play because it looked like a hold by Bentley, the safety, on Tommy Lee. And that was away from the play, but it could have been a hold.
Lewis was going to be gone. I mean, gone. Off to Boston, downtown.
Automatic first down if it is. Nope, they're looking over to the New England sideline.
I think you're right the first time, Joel.
Let's see.
Flag of the pass. Holding.
Okay.
Defense. Number 9. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, he was Lewis going down the middle, and Bentley grabbed him.
You know, as you talk about Lewis and Lasco, these guys are competing to win, and that's what Sean has emphasized since day one of camp. He wanted it to be competitive. He wants you to win every drill, every period, every play, every quarter, every game. And he came in with a winner's attitude today.
Lasco hopping his way to a jump cut through the hole. Got about 6. So when we talk about the wide receiver spot, you've got 3 automatics. Coleman had a great season, breakthrough season, making the squad last year. Colston, unreal career,
Yes.
but no longer with the team. So 6 spots. They had 6 wide receivers last year. Michael Thomas is the real deal. There's 3 starters. Coleman would be the 4th. Going low. Good run. Lasco again. Boy, he powered his way to that first down, didn't he? Went sideways.
Runner. Yeah, he really is. And this is why, when we go back to what our conversation was before the opening kickoff, that running back group right now, Joel, when a guy like Lasco's pushing up from behind, it's amazing. It's almost an embarrassment of riches, I think, at the moment at that position.
Well, Lasco, we saw him on special teams. He's earning points in various areas. The more versatile you can be, and that's what he's proving. Underneath, it's Marcus Murphy making a miss and slug from behind. The lineman came to get him. That was Joe Volano out of Maryland after he made the first man miss, but still a good gain of about 7.
For Marcus Murphy, that's where he can be most dangerous. He's an open space, field playing kind of guy. So as a back out of the backfield and those passing situations, a little 6-yard route can turn into something much bigger with him.
2nd and short. Wide the intended target. Under duress. He was out of the reach of Manhurts.
McCown wasn't able to step into that throw. He had to throw off his back foot, had a defender in his face. Didn't get the velocity on the ball that he wanted.
So we talk about spreading things out, and that's exactly what the Saints have done tonight. 17 grabbing 26. Not playing favorites. Now, big 3rd down. 5 of 10 so far. You'll take that all year. And the Saints were one of the best in 3rd down conversions last year. Looking one way, goes back the other way, and it should be enough. Good grab. And holding on to it was Reggie Bell. But when we talk about 3rd downs, last year the Saints led the league. 48% on their conversion rate on 3rd down tries, so it's not a shock to keep the drive alive.
17 different receivers. I wonder what the record is. That's a lot of different receivers catching the ball.
We may see it in the next game. Breaking 17. Out of the gun. The clock moving. McCown sidesteps the pressure, and he's got him wide open to the end zone and overthrows Harris. Boy, that could have been interesting. With 6:34 to play, missed a wide open receiver and sailed on him.
Well, good job of McCown to move the pocket a little bit, steps up, flushes out, and then in movement, you have Harris who finally breaks free from the coverage, gets behind the defender, accelerates into the next gear, and just overthrown. Couple yards. Looks like he changed gears right there. It seems like if he kept running full speed, it might have been right on the money.
Safety wasn't in the neighborhood until too late either. It'll be delay from Murphy. Goes low for about 5 up the middle. Clock running against the Saints, down by 9. Well, we started tonight about 70 to 75% of the ballpark was full. A lot of people started hitting the exits at the end of 3. This is by far the worst ballpark in the NFL to leave from. There is no escape route. It's like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. 3rd and a little more than 5, almost 6. Ton of time for McCown. Now he's dancing, and he's in trouble. So let's see what the Saints, they need 2 scores. And we have not seen a placement yet, whether it's Forbath or Barth. Not once. Kickoffs, Forbath tonight. He's had the honors. And now he's going to have the honor to try to make it a game for the Saints with 5:36, 5:35 and counting to play.
And with an attempt of a 50-yard field goal, it's the first time. I mean, how many extra points have we attempted, much less a field goal tonight? So here's your chance to make a little bit of a leap in that battle for the position.
So from 50, it's Guy Forbath, and it never had a prayer. Was it tipped at the line?
I think he slipped.
So it goes back to New England. No flags on the play. And let's see if somebody gets a piece of it. No. Stays a 9-point lead for New England with 5:12 remaining. Murphy's got room though as he put it on the ground and makes him miss at the 35. He's got blockers at the 40. Down the sideline, Allen is blocked out of the play, and Murphy all the way down inside the 20 to the 15.
And that was the Verizon call of the game by your man Joel Myers.
Well, and we said Marcus Murphy, he used that secret ambush ploy, puts it on the ground, fakes him out like he can't control it.
Just trick him.
And then takes off. So that was the return to set it all up. Unfortunately, it was one of those plays that got away because Mark Ingram put it on the ground and the Saints failed to score on that opportunity. So there's plenty of positives tonight, but the minuses are failing to capitalize and take advantage of the red zone chances. We saw Luke McCown picked off at the start of the second half in the end zone as well. Set up a screen. Gaffney won't go anywhere though. Good pursuit. Man, coming up out of the secondary to clean things up on Gaffney was Jimmy Pruitt, the rookie out of San Jose State. Robertson, you were talking about the linebacker, Sean. He's got 6 stops tonight. The leaders on defense. He's got 6 tackles. Edibali, though. Edibali looked great. He was only in there in the first quarter. He had 2 sacks.
Great start.
And we saw him in camp. The wheels look good.
Yeah, he's such an athletic guy, and I think that he might be the complement to the other side of Cam Jordan. Obum Gwachim's going to have some say in that position battle in the coming weeks. Davis Tull still trying to find his way, Joel, after basically not being able to participate at a full level last year, coming off of his injury out of college. But I mean, right now it's Edibali.
And doesn't it seem like Davis Tull, though, could be ahead of Gwachim just because of the experience factor?
Well, I think there's a separation between Edibali and whoever you name next. Tull, Gwachim. It's more of let's see how they improve from game 1 through the rest of the preseason.
Brissett's got some time. Man, flag on the plays. He's got a receiver over the middle. Taken in by his tight end Derby again. That's the 3rd grab if it holds up. Give you an idea, though, when we're talking about the pluses, Saints have 72 snaps before that compared to 53 for New England. So they've been able to move the football. If anything, they've been their own worst enemy tonight with the mistakes.
Pass, holding, defense, number 26. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Trey Elston, rookie out of Ole Miss, called on that, but more yardage.
One of the keys for Coach Payton in the offense every time you enter a preseason game is efficiency, and I think Grayson and McCown did a great job of that tonight.
It'll be Tyler Gaffney once again, their 6th round pick. And actually of Carolina, he came over. Free agent signing. Played his college ball at Stanford.
Second charge timeout, New Orleans. This is a 30-second timeout.
So don't forget, you can go to Saints.com, NewOrleansSaints.com. Man, vote for your Saints all-time squad. Top 50 in the 50th anniversary season. You're looking at the top 7 vote getters right now. So go ahead. Get involved. Stuff the ballot box.
'Tis the season.
That looked like an impressive list to me. That's a tough 7 to weed through to get down to what are they going for? Top 3? Top 1? What are we looking for?
Top 50.
Top 50.
50 years.
Those are just the 7 current, the leaders right now.
Yeah, that's an impressive list to me.
Got a long way to go, though. It's just the first round coverage. 72 hole event. First, and make it 2nd and 10 at the 48. Good heat, but Brissett found the lane and a wise decision as opposed to what we saw from Garoppolo earlier. And the Saints, they've seen Dylan Lee get into the backfield before. He's got to be grounded a little bit better, doesn't he?
You got to keep your feet on the ground. It's one of those, once you see him pump, you get up in the air and then you just watch him run right past you. It feels pretty helpless when you watch the guy run and you got nothing connected to the ground to change direction.
Yeah, and Sean's talking to him. Sean Payton, of course. He comes over to the sideline. Teachable moment for this young man. And he played at a really high level, let's face it, at Alabama. Gaffney turns the corner. Good yardage. So the turnovers hurt. There's going to be a flag as well. And that started the game. Collins off the deflection off the Coleman pass play. And then Harris never had a player on that. And that was the first series of the second half. McCown throwing that pick. And then McCown not protecting the football. So Flowers took it in for the score. And that's where we stand right now in a 9-point game with 3:46 to play.
Yeah, we didn't even show the Mark Ingram fumble on the opening offensive series of the night, which kind of shortened what was already going to be a short night for Drew Brees. Yeah, that first play of the game, Brees to Brandon Cooks, you're like, all right, here we go.
37 yards
Yes.
in sync. And the way Cooks caught it without ever tipping off the defensive back who was next to him, that he was going after the ball. Brissett gets out of bounds on the first down scramble.
But Davis Tull, that you're just talking about, him almost had him in the backfield.
I think that might have been Maudie coming off the edge. Another linebacker. He had Dylan Leah play the play before who leaves his feet. Maudie might have overran it just a little bit. Gets a hand on him, and if nothing else, Brissett knows how to get out of that pocket.
Yeah, good chase by Maudie too, though, as you mentioned.
He came back. He didn't quit on the play, but just a little pump fake. Got him out of the pocket right there. Shaughnessy was pretty close to grabbing him at the legs too.
2nd and 9. And Brissett putting it up for grabs at a jump ball, overshooting everybody. He was trying to find Devin Lucien, 7th round pick, a rookie out of Arizona State. Good coverage downfield by Brandon Dixon. Our game summary: the turnovers, 22 of the 31 points on the board for New England, a direct result of those 4 mistakes. Good looks, though. Adebawale was strong early with a couple of sacks. Michael Thomas looks like he's played a lot more than just a preseason camp and his first professional game. He looks that good. Some guys come into the league and they have a presence about them. And I remember when Andre Johnson, a big receiver out of Miami, came in with the Houston Texans, and he's a future Hall of Famer. I'm not putting Michael Thomas in that category, but he's got that feel, that look, that he's going to be a big-time playmaker.
Reminds me when Brandon Cooks first came onto the scene. You just knew you're looking at a guy who can make a lot of plays. Different build, different style of game. I'm not comparing that. What I'm saying is you watch him play and you go, this guy's got it. And I think he can help out early. It's not going to be that huge learning curve you get with some folks. And on the other side, you look at Kasim Adebawale, had a great night. He's complimenting. He can complement what Cam Jordan's doing. So good 2 emerging players for the Saints.
I think there were a lot of Saints fans who reacted in a negative way when the Saints used the 2nd round pick on Thomas, knowing that they had so many needs to fill defensively. Those of you that did that, you want to rethink this thing a little bit?
So it's going to be Gostkowski on a 45-yard field goal attempt out of the hold of Ryan Allen. And the low line drive, it got through. Like everything else for the Patriots tonight.
Found a way. That was not the prettiest of kicks, but had a little bit of a heat seeker to the bottom of the uprights.
So with 3:29 to play, and Sean Payton had just used his final timeout, it is now a 12-point lead. And we were just talking about Michael Thomas. Out of the first 4, he is the only offensive player. So they go with Rankins, Thomas, and Bell, Onyemata, and Lasco for the last. So the 7th rounder, who has looked very good tonight out of Cal.
Well, I think you just work your way down the line. You start with Sheldon Rankins. He made a couple plays. He was penetrating into the backfield. He had some pressures on the quarterback. Michael Thomas made some big plays. Obviously, we've mentioned him a bunch tonight. Von Bell, he had an opportunity for an interception. That would have been a nice way to start off your NFL career, but missed that one.
And he's had a couple of takeaways during training camp. He's also, I think, proved himself as a tackler during camp. You know, when he was drafted coming out of Ohio State, there was some criticism about his want to hit or his ability to tackle. He was upset about that, and then showed about a week ago Thursday, and perhaps the most physical practice thus far, that he'll thump.
Tommy Lee Lewis, his first opportunity. Let's see what he does with it. A couple of yards deep in the end zone. Angling. Then put down across the 20, out to the 22. Not a big hole, not a lot of opportunity over on that side for Lewis. Frustration for the young man. Don't forget, next Saturday night, right here on the Saints television network and back home in New Orleans, it will be Fox 8, our Raycom TV network. It'll be in Houston, matching up with the Texans. Changes for the Texans. The one constant's on the end there. Big number 99 and one of the very best players in the NFL, J.J. Watt.
I think you're watching a guy who, if he continues on the trajectory he's on, could be like a modern day Lawrence Taylor, who's really changed the game, and both run game and pass, he's a beast.
Gonna be Lasco. He's got the completion out to the 29-yard line. Gain of about 8. Well, there's no question, J.J. Watt, and he's such a physical specimen with such a massive motor. To watch him, it's just sometimes you forget about the game and you isolate on one guy like that, because it takes more than one to stop him, to slow him down.
I'd much rather be sitting in the booth up here next to you than trying to game plan and prepare for J.J. Watt on a Sunday afternoon.
Rare combination. We talked about Pete trying to control speed on the outside as an offensive tackle, and you know about that at the highest of levels. But with J.J. Watt, it's a combination of speed and strength.
And a great motor and good technique and powerful hands. He can run down the list with him.
Inside of 3 to play. Saints out of timeouts on a 3rd down. Ton of time. Up for grabs. And it falls incomplete. Lewis in the neighborhood. So the Saints will go for it on 4th and about 3, almost 4.
I think we'll be talking about quarterback for the Houston Texans when we arrive there next week.
A little bit. Yeah, they've got some decisions to make. That's an interesting proposition for a few teams this preseason. Philadelphia, the New York Jets, Houston,
Rams.
I don't know if anybody's talking about them.
They do have a quarterback situation they got to figure out, though.
Well, the Saints will kick it away. It'll be Thomas Morstead, rather, as Morstead gets into it. And another beauty. Good coverage, too. Now let's see if they can corral him. Bentley hit across the 25, down to the 28. Morstead tonight, the hang time, and we don't put a clock on it, but the hang time is above your national average.
He's launching the balls. You know, when he first came to the team, we used to tease him because he trains really hard, more so than most punters, and it was almost like he was a Navy SEAL with his training. He'd be off by himself, power cleaning, doing some really heavy lifting, and you don't see that very often out of a punter. But he's a guy who's dedicated to his craft and obviously has excelled in a number of years throughout his career, and has overcome that quad injury from last year and feels really good about it.
We talked to him yesterday, spent time with him yesterday, and he's not your average punter. He's a really superior athlete. Big guy. And a very, as you mentioned, strong guy, the way he trains.
Well, you ask him, and he learned from some of the best, from the John Carneys of the world, where he extended his career by what he did off the field. And I think it's a feather in Thomas's hat that he was, despite being young, he was wise enough to listen to some of the older vets and see how they maintain their body and what sustains a career for a long time.
Yeah, Thomas Morstead, by the way, was not healthy last year. He had a quad injury, yet he still averaged 45.5 yards per punt. Finals on opening night in the preseason. We saw that Atlanta won at home. Dirty Birds win at home by 6 over the Redskins. It's not over yet in Chicago. The Eagles prevail by 8, and the Jets get the win at their home field. 5-4 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wish we had better news for you here in Foxborough. Plenty of things to play off of, though, with 2 minutes left in the contest, so the Patriots ready to take a knee or 2 or 3 in a 12-point lead. And don't forget, Juan Kincaid, Sean Fazan to the post-game crew. ready to go at the conclusion of this one. And the toss will keep the clock moving.
Our old friend Curtis Lofton also on that studio crew back home.
Good move.
Yes.
So turnovers and penalties. Things to clean up for the Saints after preseason game number 1. But encouraging signs just the same for Dennis Allen. A 1-point game at the half at 17-16. And don't forget, 8 of those 17 points on a pick 6 going the other way. They weren't given up by his defensive unit.
What did you say earlier? 22 points off turnovers tonight?
22 of the 34.
Yeah. Well, that and the penalties. And that will be Mr. Payton's probably opening comment when he speaks to the media following this one.
And on the other side, New England very clean. They did not have many penalties in this game. Didn't beat themselves.
You pointed out so aptly earlier today in our meeting, Joel, how they just absolutely own their division because of disciplined, smart football like that.
It looks like he always reminds me of a guy that should have a lab coat on. Bill Belichick. Like a scientist. And I mean, I mentioned to you guys, my first game with him, he was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns way back when. And sat with him on a Saturday for about 45 minutes in his office. And the Browns practice facility, and he was an interesting sort, even back then. Very interesting guy.
Never too high, never too low. I mean, if you're going to use the scientist analogy, he'd be the guy that comes out and goes, well, I just discovered the cure for cancer. There'd be no emotion in it whatsoever. Okay.
Got a punt coming up after the snaps and a 4th down. And another opportunity for Tommy Lee Lewis. Another touch.
Yeah.
Potentially if they don't kick it out of bounds.
Well, they all count. If you get an opportunity to put something on film, this is just an important play for Tommy Lee Lewis as the first snap of the game. So the game is not over for the men on the field.
And as much as we talk about how much the Saints like it, it's a numbers game. And the number is 31 other teams in the NFL are going to be watching this tape. Good return by Tommy Lee. And he's out of bounds across the 40. Maximize that to about the 42, 43-yard line. So when you're an undrafted free agent, Stinch, there's 31 other teams you're auditioning for.
No question. Every person out there, you want to be on the team you're with right now. But for 37 guys, that's not going to be the case. So can you perform at a level that justifies, well, Patriots, you picked your 53. I've been cut from the Saints. You need to cut somebody else and bring me on your roster. That's what you're competing for also.
McCown's back in there in the shotgun. And we want to remind you that most of the first half, Garrett Grayson played and looked pretty poised in the pocket and looked by far a more complete and poised presence at quarterback than we saw at any time at the preseason last year.
10 of 16, quarterback rating 62.8. And again, a lot of film for him to watch before getting to play again next weekend.
So that'll be the final snap. It is all over in Foxborough, and a productive 3-4 days for Sean Payton and his crew up against one of the best teams in the NFL. Yeah, we're talking about a team that over the last 16 years under Bill Belichick, they've completely owned the AFC East. So we'll get ready to wrap things up. Get ready for the post-game show. A lot of things to go over. Don't go anywhere. We return to Foxborough in just a moment following the Patriots' opening night win over the Saints, 34-22.